April 24th, 2025. So welcome to show number six. Show number six of Big River Talks. I am one of your hosts, TJ, and like always, I have to my left Fred the South Man out of Laredo also, and then I have Bojo Fett on my right side. Spinning Chris is still gonna be out for a little bit, so we're gonna wait for his return soon. So. But anyway, guys, we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot of awesome guests, like always. Thank you for tuning in. Try to stick around. It's our main goal, guys, is to have a conversation. Have a conversation among friends, in front of friends. Keep it positive. Keeping it, trying to showcase Laredo people, what they've done for our community, what they're still doing. There's a lot of events popping up, guys, that you may not know. You're not gonna see it anywhere else. You're not gonna see it on Pro News, because remember, news sources want sensationalism. They want, the bad stuff, shootings and all that stuff. No, we want to talk about the good stuff, the stuff that's making a difference in the lives of people in Laredo, so that people can stop saying that nothing happens in Laredo. We'll say it's not as fast as other cities, but all we can do is push and make it fast. So we'll get there. So before we continue, I'm gonna let Fred say a couple of words, and then we'll pass it over to Bojo so we can do the recap from last week. Go ahead, Fred.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome again to another great episode of River Talks, Big River Talks podcast, done on a weekly basis, Thursday at 7 p.m., right here on Facebook and YouTube as well. And again, just to let you know, if you have any questions, concerns, or make a call, call us up, call the guest, and ask them questions. 956-813-7737. Again, that is 956-813-7737. That is the line to call here at Big River Talks Podcast.
All right, guys, and don't be shy to call, guys. Please, don't be shy. We had finally a caller last time in episode 5, and we had some people. I was talking to some of the guests here. We had a shout out all the way from Dubai, and then we had some people from Chicago. So that's awesome, guys. That you guys are, we're trying to expand our audience, and it's not just about Laredo. We're also, as you can tell, you might be able to see that we have a couple of new cameras that Fred was able to borrow from Best Buy.
Free 99.
Yeah, free 99. So, but anyway, so we're trying to every show we're trying to get better at this, guys. So hopefully one day we'll be able to do interviews from across the country, across the world. So anyway, all right, Bojo, take it away.
TJ South, man, thank you. One more episode. I've survived. Wow. I'm still on the island. Excellent. Episode 6. Well, kids, in episode 6, Phantom Menace, we find the wrong episode 6. No, privileged to be here. As TJ and Southman already mentioned, this platform is for you guys. We keep saying it. Reach out. We keep getting a whole lot of excellent guests stopping by. They're heeding the call, and you should too. If you have something you want to voice, like we said in the past, an organization, a crew, or whatever you want to call it, and then you always say, "No, it's not big enough for us." Yes, it is. This you are wanted here. And if you are shy and get behind the mic, we can help you format your stuff. And trust me, there's a locutor número uno, locutor número dos, and then there's a locutor por accidente, and that's me. They asked me to stop by to fill in, and that's what I'm doing, and I enjoy it, and I spend time here with my friends. So, do you mind if I do a little recap?
Do the recap.
So, those of you who didn't tune in last time, shame on you. No, I'm playing. We had another excellent show. We had, first and foremost, I got to do this right.
Yeah, you got to do it right.
We had Luis. This is for you, Luis. This is for you, man. These glasses. We had Luis Elvis Salazar, commonly known as Laredo's Elvis. That's what he mentioned. If I said that wrong, correct me. Chime in, Luis, and correct me. So he came out here. He did an excellent conversation with us. He told us what he was doing, what he's about, and you know what? Kudos to him. I just like the feel that he has. It's just the vibe. He really gets into what he's doing, and he really likes what he's doing. And most important, he has his mom and his family support. And we had some folks also chime in during that time who will actually were part of one of his performances, and they were all ecstatic that he was here, that he made it into our podcast, and they cheered him on. And well, we thank you, Luis, for taking the time. I know you have a busy schedule, doing what you're doing. You know, being Elvis, you are Elvis. So to us, thanks for stopping by. And then we had also something Tejano Conjunto royalty stop by. We had Mr. Ricky Ruiz y los Escorpiones. Wow, the some of the stories that he shared with us, man. If you didn't see it last week, go back and look into it. 30 plus years of him doing this, 12 albums later, and he's still doing it. And oh yeah, and by the way, look out for his new some of his new themes that he's going to be releasing. And I don't know, he started talking there after the show, which nobody wants to leave after the show for whatever reason. Everybody wants to hang out, which is awesome.
Might be the liquor.
Your microphone's on. Brother.
Oh, sorry.
We welcome the camaraderie. It's awesome. He was talking with the Laredo Elvis, so they're talking about some Elvis songs in Spanish in conjunto, and I'm not gonna spoil it, but that's just what I heard. It said cheeseman. No, just but yeah, so they might be doing some collabs. So I think if you missed that, go back. We had a great time with them. They fed us a lot of information that we didn't know about them, and I hope the rest of Laredo knows. And that's what this is about, Laredo. You're going to see more and more guests come up to us. Bring your story. Let the rest of Laredo know your story and what you're trying to do, what you're trying to gain or accomplish, and how we can help. We can help each other do this. So, thanks, guys. And there it is.
All right. Well, thank you, Gojo. Appreciate that. It's always good to, for the ones that missed it, and you can always go back on YouTube and go under Tejano Express Radio, and you'll see all the podcasts so far, all 5 of them, and you can catch up on who's been here and what we've talked about. So, all right, before we get to the guests, guys, a couple of topics that we wanted to talk to you guys about.
WrestleMania?
No, that's later.
John Cena. Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But look, something that's going on in the world that everybody needs to be aware of, because there are things developing that are not looking good for the future. First thing I wanted to bring up is the Ukraine war. So you got the U.S. Showing sometimes a little more care and more attention to one side over the other, and I think we got to be real careful with that, because you had a previous administration supporting one side. Now you have a new administration seemingly supporting the other side. We don't know yet. All we know is that whatever comes out of a politician's mouth, most of them, is not true. Not all of them. There's some good politicians out there, but we got to be real careful with that, because and we'll talk. I want to also bring up about a gentleman by the name of Nostradamus and this other people that were able to tell the future, and it's kind of scary, some of the things that they predicted that came up already. And Nostradamus did predict that somebody from the West was going to start the next war. It was going to not be the end of the world, but at least be the end of the world that we know, because it was going to be a horrible nuclear war. I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just telling you that we got to make sure you're talking to your representatives, your politicians. Make sure that they understand and they know that we may not be happy exactly with what they're doing, and they need to change their ways. That's all I'm saying. So let's keep an eye on that. Every day something happens with Ukraine and Russia. And right now the U.S. is basically at a point where either they come to an agreement for peace or they're going to step out. That's the latest that I heard today. That means they're going to step back and let them go at it. That means no more support, or at least in public, no more support. But again, get involved, guys, and find out what's going on. Find out what's going on and have an opinion and make a difference. Be an activist for the survival of our species at this point. Speaking of predictions, there's an interesting prediction having to do with what just happened last week with the death of the Pope. A lot of people, and a lot of people know about this, supposedly that this was our last Pope as far as the traditional. There's some predictions are talking about a black Pope, not so much in color, but dark-hearted Pope, supposed to be the last one, and blah, 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 end of the world, all this stuff. Ever since I can remember, the world's been ending for a very long time. And look, if you are believe in the Bible and stuff, again, I'm not gonna get all religious, but if you believe, then you don't worry about this stuff, because even God's son wouldn't be able to. He actually said he didn't know when this thing was gonna be over, or if it was gonna be over at all. So, guys, all I'm gonna tell you is don't get confused with all these things. Don't get scared. You just worry about yourself. Be a good person, and be ready to go when the time when the higher power says it's time for you to go. That's all you can do. You can't control anything else. What's gonna happen with Ukraine? What's gonna happen with the Pope? You cannot control anything. All you can control is you. Be in charge of you and be a good person. Take care of you and yours, and you'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine. Now let me get off the serious topics and let's talk about. Well, this is kind of still serious, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And like most of you already know, you got 3 combat veterans up here with PTSD. We're gonna have another veteran come up in a little bit. And one thing that triggers us is loud noises, right? And guess what? Laredo's full of immature kids that drive, sports cars, Mustangs, and all this stuff, and they mess around with the muffler to make it sound loud. Why? Because, mommy and daddy didn't pay enough attention to them, so they gotta be noisy and they gotta be a pain in the ass to everybody else. Guys, remember, you have people with PTSD, you have day sleepers, you have elderly people, you have young kids that sleep throughout the day. And every time one of these fucking assholes does that, it affects people. So if you know someone that does that, please talk to them. If you're the parent of one of them, do your fucking job and take care of them. Do something. Don't let them go around, bothering people. That's not right. That's not cool. So let's try to control it. And you know what? I would love to say they're just kids, but they're not kids. When I was with the police department, we stopped adults racing with kids. Adults. I'm talking about grown men in their 40s, still acting like little kids. So if you're the wife, if you're the mother, if you're the daughter of one of these people, please remind them to grow up and be mature and be part of society. You don't live alone, guys. You live in a city. If you want to live alone, go in the boonies and go raise cows or whatever the hell you want to raise. But if you're in a public community, then do your part. Don't be an ass. Right? And the last thing I'm gonna, and then before we get to the first guest, today starts the NFL draft. Today starts the beginning of our year for the Dallas Cowboys. This is it.
There we go.
This is it.
This is the year. This is our year.
This is the year, damn it.
Here we go.
Yes.
This is the year.
Can I interest you in a real team, guys?
What?
Which one?
What?
Steelers, man.
Okay. That's my second choice.
They're up and coming. You'll see.
Well, it's gonna be good. They're gonna be fun to watch. But the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. That's the only one. That's the only one.
And we'll still have next year.
No. Forget this is next year already. This is it. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl. We're gonna be in the stands watching.
We're
going to damn Super Bowl.
This is our year. Mid-season, we still got next year.
Yeah, we still got
next year.
What the hell?
Just
What kind of fake Texan are you? How can you be from Texas?
This is a very transparent podcast. We're just gonna call it as it is.
Okay.
Anyway, like I said, go Cowboys. That's all I have to say.
And, going out to all of your viewers, thank you for watching. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes. Gracias, Cindy, Triple P, Alicia.
Villarreal
Villarreal está aquí. Alicia Salcedo. To all of y'all, thank you so much. And in case y'all have some questions, please don't hesitate. Send us a text, send us a message on YouTube or Messenger, or not in Messenger, but on Facebook Live. We are on those 2 main streams right now as we speak, or give us a call, 956-813-7737.
I wish I had a radio voice like Southman. I don't. I have a lisp, and I sound like my voice is still changing, so I apologize for that. But I can pretend I have one, but I don't have one. But anyway, all right. So let's bring our first guest. So we don't get right to it. So Mr. Joe Barron, thank you for stopping by. He took the time to come in and talk about something very important. He's very involved with autism and other projects. So he's one of these people, guys, that the people that we want to showcase in this podcast. People that are movers and shakers behind the scenes, They don't care about recognition. They don't care about anything. They care about making a difference. And in this case, it has to do with not only autism awareness, but also making these, especially the kids that are going through this, that making their lives as best as possible, making them have their best life with us as adults, helping and making a path for them. So Joe, thank you so much for being here. I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us what you're about.
Sir, first, thank you for having me here. I've been here a few minutes, and I love the atmosphere, and this is awesome that this is in Laredo. Thank you for that. Second is, yeah, if you're from Texas, you got to be a couple.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
You know what? Thank you so much. Yes.
You got to be.
Arriba, Cowboys.
Thank you for stopping by.
It's like the team you love to hate.
That's right.
That is true. That is true.
So yeah. And though Pittsburgh Steelers is right up there.
Yeah,
It's my second favorite
Somebody
team.
recognized it. Very good.
Yeah,
Thank
second
you.
favorite team.
The Iron Curtain. Like, some people don't remember that, but, you know.
No, sir. So again, thank you for that. What's coming up for us? I started Casa Cariño maybe about 4 years ago, right? Casa Cariño is an organization that helps people in need, families in need. The people, kids that are homeless, right? In working together, hand in hand, right, with Holding Institute. They're a big part of it. Working together with Bethany House, with both school districts. And the kids that the parents had some bad luck, they got, lost their job, got evicted. So we try to help them have a place to lay their head, right? Somewhere where they can rest up, right? Their house burns down, right? The Red Cross helps what they can. They give you $500 and you decide if you want to, go to a hotel and stuff like that. We try to do a little bit more, right? We try to help them maybe in 2-week increments. They have a place to stay, and if they need longer, then we can review it in 2 weeks and we'll give you longer. But we also try to get to the root of it, right? Why are you in that situation? Do some case management, and if we can help them get out of it, then we'll help them get out of it. So that's Casa Cariño in a nutshell. We started getting involved with, and I'll tell you why. My brother Richard has 2 boys, twin boys, 13-year-olds with autism. Those boys, they're a blessing, right? If anybody knows my brother was un nervio. He was always un nervio, worried about this, doing like he was tied up very, very
Very tightly wound.
tightly wound.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. His boys came along and changed his life.
Wow.
Right? So I see what he goes through, right? And Laredo's doing the best it can. From the city of Laredo to the school districts, they're doing the best they can to try to catch up with the services that are lacking in Laredo, right? So autism, when parents find out that they're gonna have a child with autism, there's nothing here to guide them. There's nothing here to tell them, hey, this is what you're gonna expect. We're here, there's a support group, this is what we're gonna do for you, we'll travel this journey together. Right now? Right. And then there's nothing in between. And then, once they age out of high school,
They're on their own.
they're on their own,
Yeah.
right? So we're trying to bring a light to this. We're trying to see what we can do to bring attention to this. I know the city of Laredo is doing their best in bringing up new ideas, right? But if we can help spread that word, then that's what we want to do. So we came up with an idea of having a concert in the park, right? It's called Rocking the Spectrum, with Ruben Gutierrez, our councilman, City Park and Rec, JJ Gomez is doing an excellent, they're all doing an excellent job. UISD, from the superintendent to the special ed department. everybody we've called for it, we have not gotten a no. We talked a little bit before offline about how Laredo always comes through, right? How Laredo has that big heart. Well, I'm seeing this in this, right? From everybody we reached out to come be a part of it, yes. We have 3 local bands that are coming. None of them are charging a dime. We are, it's incredible. It's incredible, right? So at the end of the day, we're having a concert at the park with 3 local bands, 4 high school drum lines, a middle school jazz band. Sister Rosemary is gonna do the opening ceremonies for it.
Nice.
So it's free to the public. You know, we're gonna have food trucks, we're gonna have informational booths. I think PD is gonna be there to give the fingerprint for the kids, right? To have that ID for the kids. What we're trying to do is hit up some sponsors to raise money to build what they call a sensory room. A sensory room is a room in a school for kids with autism. This room is to help them. You can consider this room, I never saw one before, right? I'm no expert at this. But I went to a seminar that they were having at United Independent School District, and I saw the sensory room. It's a room, different lights, soundproof, sounds, different textures, where kids with special needs can go in there and learn. If they're having a hard time, calm down. It's a much needed room, right? So this room, hopefully if we come up with some funds, we want to build it at United High School. Why United High School? United High School is probably the biggest high school in Laredo. And it's the one that has the most population with kids with special needs.
Okay.
So I think that's why we're targeting that school, right? It's needed.
You said it was the biggest.
Yes, sir.
Not the best, because Nixon's the best.
Well,
but anyway.
that's
Well, I had to throw it in.
Can you bring the Mustang for me real quick?
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a Martin Tiger in here?
No, wait, you know what?
No.
Martin, you know what they say? Once a tiger? Always be
Always
Charlie.
a Tiger.
Always be
Yeah,
Charlie.
but I went to United High School, so.
Okay.
So, but we're trying our best to raise some funds to build this room. And you can consider this room like the kids' gym.
Yeah.
It's gonna be used every day. And this room will be there for all these kids that are coming.
It's like a safe place for them to.
That's exactly what it is.
So then, like you said, if they're walking around in the general population and they get freaked out, there's always a place for them to go where everybody knows their name, everybody knows who, like in Cheers, everybody knows who they are, and they're fine.
Yes,
I mean, so then regroup and go back.
That's exactly
I like
what it
it.
is.
I like
Yes, sir.
that, yeah.
That's exactly what it
We
is.
all need that.
So, just a quick stat. Couple of years, let's go 15 years back, right? They would say 1 in every 500 kids born.
You talk about the incidence of autism, right?
Yeah,
And how it's
yeah.
increasing dramatically.
So from, let's say 15 years ago, it was 1 in every 1,000, vamos a decir.
Yeah, just off Valley Kennedy.
Today, it's 1 in every 36.
Yeah.
Wow. And okay, so I'm glad you touched up on that before you continue with your story. I'm hearing a bunch of different
Yes, sir.
theories as to why it's happening. You know, I mean, vaccines?
Vaccines.
Oh, vaccines. Okay, that's one of them. That's one of them. I hope not. But vaccines, the food, the exposure to chemicals. I mean,
Yes.
I've heard a bunch.
I've heard a bunch of them too.
And nobody knows at this point.
They can't pinpoint.
It's scary, man.
Yeah.
I mean, for those young couples that want to have kids, now it's actually something to really worry about.
Yeah.
You know, because look, not every parent is made to parent a kid like that. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, my parents had enough trouble with me. I'm an only child, and I don't have autism. I'm just an asshole. But some people that, I mean, to make that decision to, I'm gonna keep this child, it's tough.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a family, right? Yeah, it's a family thing. It's not just the parents. It's the whole family that needs to get adjusted to
Oh
it.
yes. Oh yes.
Like you as an uncle,
Making
right?
making
You as an
them,
uncle.
making them feel there's no difference. We're here for you. Same, you know what I'm saying? That kind of.
It's and again, I'm no expert in this at all. But what I see in my brother, what I see in people that I know, right? Hey Richard, come on over and come inside. You know, he can. My sister-in-law can't, right? Because one of them has to stay home, right? And there's one of the things that are lacking here, right? There's no help, right? If a couple, if me and my wife have a child with autism, and me as a couple with my wife, I want to take her out to dinner. Yeah, who's gonna stay with them?
Who's gonna watch?
Who's gonna babysit? Who's
And-
gonna do?
and
Like,
then-
like all of that, sir. It's
The problems that develop in that marriage, also because there's never time for adult time. So that's another. I mean, so you know, it's a ripple effect. One
It's a-
needs to.
it's a-
So
it's a-
you're right. So now I'm understanding the message, and you're right. I mean, Laredo again. You know, you gotta love this town for what it is, but we are so far behind in a lot of things. This is just a very important one.
I mean, not too long ago when Patty was here, I mean,
Right.
just cancer. Cancer's been around since we can remember.
Right.
And now that autism's on the more on the like on TV and stuff like that, I mean, there's gonna be less stuff. We're so far behind, so far behind. We need to change.
So Joe, what you're doing is you're bringing light to. It's not just
Yeah.
the affected children that in this case in 5 years they're going to be adults.
Yep.
But are they really going to be adults? No. The problem is that legally they're going to be adults.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Those of us that are not familiar with
Society.
yes,
Yeah.
Including cops. You know, we just had a shooting of an autistic kid. And what was the name of that?
Idaho.
I know.
State of Idaho.
With
Hotel.
a knife. It was a legal good shoot from the cops in the sense of a threat. But if they were better trained, I mean, we're gonna be here all day talking about what if. What if the parents never allowed that kid to grab a knife?
Yeah,
What if that kid? So we're never gonna get
You
done.
can what if it to death,
Yeah.
but let's just take
But-
it for face value.
But here's the deal: the face value in this case, in my opinion, is that the higher power. I'm not saying God because some people are gonna get offended. You know what? Screw it.
Yeah, I
God.
say God.
God decided
Yeah,
that that was that kid's time to take off from the earth, right? But again, let's go back in time and understand why it happened. You know, the cops have to live with that now. I mean, like I said, I made a comment that day. I was a cop for 30 years, and not one time did I ever say, I can't wait, let me see what I'm gonna shoot this today. Let me see what I'm gonna kill today. No. And the day that it came, that I ended up, you know, taking somebody out, I already understood that was my job. That's why I signed up. It's like when we went to war and we didn't want to shoot at anybody. I mean, come on, and we're there for a reason, you know. So anyway, so let me not get out of the way too much. But what I'm trying to tell you is that when they become adults, we need to learn and understand because they're gonna act different. They're gonna freak out about stuff. They're gonna react differently. We're gonna misunderstand it. We're thinking that they're drunk. We're thinking that they're crazy, but they're not crazy. They're just their senses are different. So yes, you talking about, I hadn't thought of that till you mentioned it. It's not just the kids, it's the family.
It's families.
It's the families. And then employers that might be willing to hire them. So that these people can, you know, there was another story on NBC, an autistic father with an autistic son. Of course, the father is now older, so he's learned to cope with a lot of stuff. But now he's trying to teach his teenage son how to cope. And he took offense to how some people treat him, how they label him, how they, you know, he goes, I'm an adult with autism, but I've had to learn through whatever, Medicaid, whatever it is, I've had to learn to become a self-sustained adult.
To overcome.
Yeah.
His status.
So, continue please, I'm sorry.
And it's a family thing, it's a community thing, right? As a community, how many of us have been in a restaurant? And we're eating and we're trying to have a dinner with our family and somebody comes in with, you know,
It's,
people turn around and look at you.
yes.
Right? Because again, it's not that we don't understand, it's just that we
we're judging, we're bothered. You know, sometimes empathy is not our best, you know, virtue.
Correct.
And then you know the question is, okay, why do I have to put up with this shit? You know, it's not that you have to. It's that you should be the better person because you're in control of your faculties.
Yeah, you know,
Right.
they've been pushing us down our throat. We need to accept this. We need to accept that, and everybody's courteous to all this. Why not to this?
Yeah, no, this is different.
This
It is different.
Why
You know,
can't
this-
we? Why can't they like empathize and identify and treat and respect and just be aware? You know.
Yeah, and you know, our listeners and the ones that are gonna hear this, I'm sure that your message right now is gonna resound very loudly with a lot of these people. So I hope that if you can motivate one person out of, you know, almost 2,000 that we get a week to get involved, to say, you know what, I want to talk to Joe. Let's see what we can do. That'll be.
And we talked a little while about this too, right? When I'm here and we're asking, and I say sponsorships, right? We all have, everybody has, we all have three things, right? You have time, you have talent, and you have treasure.
I like it.
Right.
Right? So we'll ask you for that. We'll ask if you're fortunate enough to have money, have a banquet, hey, write a check, we'll gladly take it.
Of course.
But if you have time, right? Give us your time.
We'll take it too.
We'll take it too.
Absolutely.
We'll put you to work.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a teacher and you love to read, come read to some of these kids.
Yes.
Right? That's giving your time.
Yeah.
Right? If you have a talent, if you have, if eres carpintero and you're driving around, and not only helping us, but if you're driving around and you see an elderly person with a house that needs some repairs, sabes que párate ahí and fix it. Right? That's a talent that God gave you. Right? So, you know, time, talent, or treasure. Right? We'll take either one. Right? So again, if you're blessed to have some funds, vente, we'll take your check. You know, if you want to come out this Saturday, help out, you know, organize some stuff, help pass out some information, vente, give us your time. Right? So we'll take whichever one of the three you want to give us. Right? But I think that if we're healthy, we're blessed, you know, come give it. We'll take it. You know. So, sir, again, you know, thank you. I do want to say, I personally want to thank everybody that's involved that put this together. Right? Michelle Molina. She's part of UISD, but she also has a child with autism. Right? She lives this every day. You know, my brother helped me put this together. He lives with it every day with my nephews. Right? Ruben Gutierrez, we called him and he was on, right? He goes, Joe, whatever you need, right? Health department, everybody that had their little grain of salt to make this happen, I want to say thank you to them, right? And again, and thank you to you guys for allowing me to talk about this a little bit.
Absolutely.
And hopefully this will get some people out to Watergate.
It should, and I hope so. And you know what, Joe? I appreciate you stopping by. I see you put your heart on the table. That's how much you're into this. Kudos to what you're doing. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. And this will, you know, as he just says, this will resound with somebody out there. And he put the invitation out. It's, you know, we use the word challenge, but he put the invitation out there, Laredo. If you have one of those 3 T's, step up. Southman, we have Joe's number there if they can reach him, or we pop it up on the screen.
It's in that flyer right now.
So,
I didn't get it.
We got 956-774-5645. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Reach out to him. 956-774-5645. Come on, Laredo. Let's do something. Let's help out Joe's crew. And this is for a good cause. And like I said, three things that we can help them out with. We're going to do as much as we can to help you out, and it's our pleasure. You come back to us anytime you have to, give us updates, something new that you're doing with this organization and pushing it forward. And if there's anything else that us here at Big River Talks can do, we will gladly we'll help you out. Man. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very
And
much.
let me tell you what we're gonna do. I hadn't talked it over with the guys, but I'm committing to this. We're gonna have a telethon. We're gonna go back to the days of telethons.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a telethon to raise money for a bunch of different causes. You know, Jerry Lewis used to do it for the MDA.
you know, our vision is to do it for different projects. You know, whatever money is raised during that telethon, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, doesn't matter. We'll do it out of here. Doesn't matter. You know, we'll have artists like the one you're gonna meet later on, you know, come on, whatever, and then spread the money, you know, evenly
And
amongst
if
the
that
different-
happens, sir, I'll be here. I'll do whatever I can. You want me to, you know,
We're
be
gonna
the
ask
bartender,
you
I'll be the bartender.
to dance, Joe.
Yeah, I'll dance, I'll
You
be
have
the
that body, you
bartender,
have that body.
whatever you need, I'll be here to help.
So,
Casa Cariño is a 501c3.
really,
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
so if anybody does decide to give a little bit of their treasure, we can give you, you know, a tax break at the
For
end
the
of the year.
taxes, yeah.
So we are 501c3.
Uncle Sam loves that, you know, to give out tax breaks.
Yes. But again, it's great what you do, and I personally, I don't have children with autism, but I have, you know, my little group at church and my kids that I take care of, the Royal Rangers, I have 2 of them that they're autistic. In different parts of it, but they are, so they're my kids.
Yes, sir.
And I like to, because there's other children that have I don't treat them different.
Yes, sir.
I bring them in and we speak to them a little different and stuff like that, but I don't treat them any different. So I only help for like an hour and a half, 2 hours at the most on Wednesday nights. That's when we gather. I can only imagine, you know, every day, the wear and tear of that, not just to the mom and dad, it's just to the family.
Yes, sir.
So, man, what you're doing is great. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir.
You know, may God bless you and succeed in everything that you need. And we'll be here backing you up.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Thank you. Thank you all.
Piggybacking to that, Joe, is we're here, station's here for you, for your organization, for your family, and all of those that are in need of some support. All you gotta do is just give us a call, text us. We're here for y'all.
Thank
Whatever
you,
y'all
sir.
need.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. God bless you guys.
Before you leave, I want to give a big shout out to Councilman Ruben Gutierrez. I was telling you earlier that, you know, him and I started with the Laredo Police Department together. He was a traffic cop, and I was his lieutenant in the section, and always very dedicated to whatever he does. So, Ruben, if you're listening, I know you are. Big shout out to you, and thank you for helping this cause. And I mean, Ruben's been very active and very vocal about a lot of stuff. So that's what we need.
I won't take that. I think he was a motorcycle cop.
He was a motorcycle cop.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but he was the nicest one. Like he wouldn't give out too many tickets because it's work.
Yeah.
But he was stopping everybody. He was stopping everybody. So, but yeah, Ruben.
Warnings.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
warnings. But no, but the thing is that just to be a motorcycle cop, see, a lot of people think that just because they can ride a motorcycle, they can be a motorcycle cop, and that's what they go through to certify. You know, the leanings and turns, and it's crazy. Screw that. I mean, they don't even see you in a unit, much less a motorcycle, especially here in Laredo, right? But again, Joe, we'll get, you know, let's plan out this telethon. It's gonna be soon.
Yes, sir.
I promise it's gonna be soon, and we're gonna make some stuff happen.
And if it's okay with you guys, once we have it and once we have total numbers, how many people attended, I'll come back and give you guys an
Yeah,
update.
well, that'll be
Some
awesome.
stats,
The
yeah.
next time, like I told you before, you know, we do have. I'm part of the Classic Cats. It's a bunch of old farts doing a bunch of old school stuff. Next time, I promise you, we'll be out there and support you guys.
But we could do maybe a remote with this.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Maybe not this Saturday because of the road, but once we get our remote stuff, with that'll be the next step
Yes,
for us to get out
yes,
there
sir.
and
And
you know,
I'll bring a bottle of scotch.
only one. No, I'm just joking.
So,
Forget
it's like, so we'll see you out there.
Yeah.
Saturday. What happened to the next?
No, sir. Thank you guys for real.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Joe.
you.
Like
God
I
bless
said,
you guys.
you don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
You got it on us now.
Yeah.
You got the camera on. All right. Let's pay some bills here. So again, guys, some of our sponsors, Mariachi Mezcal de Tejas. I'm also the singer and play well on that. We are the number 2 mariachi in Laredo, not the number 1, because let me tell you why we say that.
Why?
Because everybody else thinks they're number 1. We know we're number 2.
Say
So
that.
we don't want to compete. We want to be in a class all by ourselves. Silverio Martinez, attorney at law, for all your legal needs. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you need them, that's the attorney to call. Warrior Way Protection Services. We do a lot of security work. We also do personal protection stuff and private investigations. So if you need something like that, give us a call. Western Wicks Pizza, Eric.
There you go.
Eric, this is show number 6. You only brought 2 pizzas in 6 shows.
We're gonna bring Taco Palenque.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna bring Pizza Hut. That's it. Pizza Hut. That's it. You know what is DiGiorno? Those freaking.
Yeah. No, that sign's coming down.
Yeah, that sign is starting to fall off already.
It's getting weak.
And Mariachi Mix Outfitters and more, guys. We're selling a bunch of Mexican artisanal stuff. We're gonna start selling anything for mariachi outfits, uniforms, all that good stuff. Whispers Bar and Lounge. I always call it Laredo's best kept secret. It's a nice little bar. Toby Keys wrote a song about it. I like this bar, right? Tejano Express Radio, thanks to Southman here that brought that to us, and we're able to use their Facebook access so we can come at you live. And of course, Classic Cats. It's funny because the cats are all over 60. I'm 54, and so they treat me like I'm the stupid kid. They want me to carry everything, and I'm like,
The roadie.
The roadie.
Yeah, exactly.
no, I'm the drummer. No, you're the roadie. Shut the fuck up. So, anyway,
You're the roadie with drumsticks.
Let me go ahead and send shout outs. Thank you for watching, those viewers. Jeffrey Uguzano, thank you so much. Jorge Medina, thank you for watching. Ludivina Rojas Ramirez, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the comments. Triple P, muchas gracias. Thank you so much. And everybody else that is viewing our podcast right now live on Facebook and also on YouTube Live. And also, if you had questions for comments, questions to our guests, give us a call at 956-813-7737.
All right. So we're gonna ask our next guest to come up to the mic, please. That'll be you there, Warrior. That'll be you.
In the meantime, I just want to say something to you. And it just dawned on me, so we have some viewers, watching, and maybe you have a topic you want to talk about.
That's right.
As long as you keep it clean and it doesn't get out of hand and you don't get offensive about it or defensive about it, stop by. We'll listen to you. We can listen to you. So again, if you're just a listener right now, you're like, dude, I've always wanted to say this or do this, and never had the platform to do it. Let's do it. I mean, just let us know, whatever, right? Whatever you want to come in with, and we'll listen to you.
Guys, this is a conversation amongst friends, in front of friends. So, look, somebody asked, well, do you have to use, the language, whatever. Guys, we're adults. The reason I do it is to remind people that this is an adult conversation. This is the way we speak. We're gonna be respectful. We're not gonna be politically correct all the time, but we're gonna try to stay respectful. And you notice my guys here don't cuss. I'm the one that's cussing, and I do it for effect. I do it to remind people this is an adult show. If you have little kids, it's not for them. Because we're talking about adult stuff. We're talking about stuff that adults need to come together and make things better for the world, to get Laredo into another level.
You're so mean.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, all right. So our next guest, guys. Our next guest is an icon. Now we'll call him an icon of the community. He's been around for a while. He's
philanthropist.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades, master of none, just like I am. He's been a military guy, politician, educator. You name it. I'm really glad that he took the time to come in and talk to us.
He thinks he's getting paid for this.
Yeah. And we kind of told him we were going to get paid. Anyway, Master Sergeant Popo Gonzalez, Adolfo Gonzalez, I call him Master Sergeant because he retired from the military at their rank, which is a very high rank for those of you that know. But easy to get to.
But maybe you didn't know, but he did wear a diamond, so he won the first sergeant.
He was actually my first sergeant when I was a commander, and that was the best AT that I had. I don't think we did a whole mission, but it was the best AT I had.
You remember it?
Yeah, he was always the guy that put me in my place. It was like, just when I was trying to talk shit, he'd be like, "Shut the hell up, sir."
Just like he is right now.
Yes, stop.
He's looking at you.
Yeah, he's looking at me like, "Say something, dumbass." Just But anyway, Master Sergeant Adolfo Popo Gonzalez, thank you for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Please start off with talking a little bit about yourself, what you know, what you're doing now, and where you're going.
Thank you, TJ. Thank you for you guys, all three of you that are friends that we have known, that we have gotten used to, and have seen you in different places and different things. And at different situations. So yes, my name, like and I'll call him Sir, called me because of his title with the National Guard and the U.S. Army. But the main thing is that my dad died when I was 11 years old, and I wanted to be a band director at the beginning. Okay, but guess what? There was no money to go to school outside of Laredo. So I had started working with the Laredo Citizen, a weekly newspaper, taking pictures, learning with the icon of the newspaper, Odi Arambula, and I started doing what I now like a lot of taking pictures, of writing stories and stuff of that nature. But guess what? There was no journalism in classes here in Laredo. It was Texas A&I at Laredo back then. And so the only thing that was available was in education. So guess what? Took a degree in education, secondary ed, started teaching at the age of 21. So I had kids that were 16, 15 years old. So that's only about 6 or 7 years. So if I'm 76 now, those kids are 70 already. And my kids still.
And they're still your kids, right?
That guy is old. How can he be your student? But anyway, I started teaching. I got a job offered as a salesman, and I said, no, you know what? I need to give teaching a chance. And I tried it for 3 years, sponsor of the newspaper, sponsor of the yearbook, but it was only $6,000 a year.
Wow.
So at that time, I said, I had already gotten married, had 3 kids, so I said, this is not gonna work. So as a teacher, I got out and went to work with Texas International Airlines. I was out there bringing airplanes down with the flags in the airfield, and people say, how do you have a degree? Yeah, but I'm getting paid more here over here.
That's right.
So I did that, but one thing that I did not recognize was the fact that I was the last man in, they went on strike, and you have to be at least 4 months, working to be able to qualify to be in the union. So they went on strike, and I had been there 3 months, so I was the last one out.
You were the first one out.
The first one out.
Yeah.
So it was in December, January, the first week of January, I went to the Texas Employment Office. They said, oh, you have a degree, you want to be an interviewer? I said, sure enough. So I was hired that same day. And when I tell people I've had about 6 or 7 different jobs, but I had never been one day unemployed. And they said, how can that be? Well, I've always had different jobs. I would do some teaching at nights, with ESL going to Zapata, going to Heberville, with a tri-county program with LC. And then I also did defensive driving classes on Saturday mornings. I did that for about 10, 12 years. I did quit the teaching. I did quit the interviewer, and then started working as a salesman because they offered me that job again. The guy that had hired in the first place did not last, and so I said, this position is open. So I took that job, and I lasted 10 years as a salesman. After that, teacher salaries had started going up, and so I was offered a job with one of the schools. There was a teacher that was starting to raise a family, and they needed an English teacher in the middle of the semester. So I go back to, now had been with LISD, I go back to United, ISD, and there at United, I got to go to the high school, teaching English, literature, and at one time even had a literature class, had an English class, and had a Spanish class, because I had, so I didn't know whether I talk in Spanish, ¿Cómo están hoy? Or, oh no, it's not, or should I talk about Shakespeare, or should I talk about what? But I lasted there for 35 years, before we were taken away for Operation Jumpstart in 2006 and 2007. And so that was my last year. When I retired, they mentioned to me, since you retired from the military, we have a position open as an Army instructor at Martin High School. And so that's where I had done my student teaching, so I liked that. And I said, you know what, the gentleman didn't take long. He said, "We'll pay you what you're earning right now with your years of experience. There's a difference of $20,000. Where do I sign?" And in my mind, I saw as a teacher, you can retire at the best 3 years of your salary.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'll work 3 years and I'll retire. And that's exactly what I did. Okay, and I did retire after that. Okay, and so basically, okay, I'm getting my people say, how can you get Social Security, okay, teacher retirement, National Guard retirement, and disability? Okay, well, okay, because I was going every month for 39 years with the National Guard, okay, every month, taking advantage. There's 3 reasons for teaching: June, July, and August. And guess what? Okay, they changed that, but those 3 months, I would take off with the National Guard and go up to Fort Hood. Okay, I got certified since I was an instructor, as an instructor up there. Okay, I had been the dining facility manager, so I was doing all the planning and everything else in the summer months. So those 3 months were being charged to my Social Security. So I had the quarters when I retired. So I said, you know what, every first of the month, I love that, because in my checking account, it goes up quite a bit, more than what I was getting when I was working. So I've been enjoying it, and we've been doing some traveling with my family. All my kids are grown up and married, okay, with their own life. I can go and explain to you about each kid, and each one is different in their own way.
Of course.
Because each one, like everyone else, okay, we have different strokes for different folks,
Right.
like we say. But yet, I have enjoyed it, and my next thing that I want to do, but I found out one thing. You say that you want to write a book. Saying that you want to write a book is one thing. Sitting down and writing it is different. I told my wife, I need to be like Shakespeare, go and hide somewhere.
Right.
Nobody knows, and
Yeah.
I'm by myself. And,
Yeah,
right? grow a beard like Bojo here.
Yeah, grow a beard, be naked all day, and chasing woodpeckers.
And so I will
last
do
time I
it.
faced
Okay,
him.
I will do it. I got 2 or 3 titles of different books. My mom had to raise us, and so she worked baking cakes, making Easter eggs, selling flower arrangements, and so all of those things pop into my mind. And so I said, wanting to do something, you can if you set your mind to do it.
So true.
And you're young enough to do it. And one thing, I mean, we've known you for a long time, but we've known you for a very long time. And we joke and whatever, but a lot of respect always your way, because the art, I'm gonna say include us, because our type of males are quickly disappearing to a lot of different things.
Yep.
Snowflakes and whatever. So we're losing. I'm concerned about the American male, man. I really am. This next war, I'm concerned that we're not gonna have enough fighters. I guarantee you, we're gonna see a lot more females out there kicking ass than males.
I wish we could have said by 3 years with the JROTC, okay, I would tell my kids, look, make your applications, but I don't know, nowadays kids, okay, to apply for scholarships, to do this, to do that, they wait until the last moment before they do something.
It's called procrastination, and I'm really good at that. I have a shirt that says "Procrastinators Unite Tomorrow." I'm that guy, but nowadays you're gonna lose the boat real fast. I mean, there's so many people, so many kids competing, and here's another problem: how many kids do we have that are straight A students who are really not straight A students? That are GT and they're really not GTs.
And you got to look at that slowly, because I had one young man, okay, that was my second son, and he came up to me one day, this last year in high school, and said, "Dad, I want to drop out of school." I said, "You know how I feel about you being a school teacher?"
Yeah.
I said, "But you know what? I'm gonna let that sink in my mind and ask you one question. Why do you want to drop out?" He said, "Well, I'm missing half a credit, and my teacher, okay, does not. The counselor told me that I would not be able to graduate." So you have always said, because I was teaching GED classes also, that the high school diploma was just a piece of paper that showed that you completed your high school degree. I had to kind of swallow, yes, I've said that before. Okay. But I'm going to let you take the test in November. This was like October. I'm going to let you take the test in November. And I know you're going to pass it because I'm giving the classes and I know what you are doing. But in January, guess what? You have to promise me that you will enroll in the junior college. So instead of being half a semester behind your class, you're going to be a half a semester ahead of your class. And so he did that, took his 2-year at LC with air conditioning, got out of his air conditioning class, worked 2 years, I believe I have to work with a company, okay, took the test for the air conditioning at the state level. He celebrated his 25th year as Quick Air in Zapata County.
Nice. Well, see, but check this out. He was lucky that he had you to guide, to mentor, and to listen to him because a lot of times us as parents, I don't want to hear that you're going to do this. No, and like you said, all our kids are different. Every single one of them. Out of 5 brats, I only have 1 that went to the military. Okay.
Same thing with me.
You know, my oldest, which I love, Mika, I love you very much. She's a military spouse, but she the crazy. But she's an LPC. She's gonna start her doctorate. You know, she gave me my first 2 granddaughters. But what I'm trying to tell you is that, and even though they're all musically inclined, you know, because of my mom and my dad and me and whatever, none of them went into music. You know, again, you're like, please, one of you now. I still have hope with my little one, my 15-year-old, see what she does.
Right.
But again, your kids have to become them. They have to find their own path. You know, you say your mom worked her ass off to get you guys through. And I promise you that your work ethic, she was your mentor, without even saying it.
Yes, yes.
So even though you have the same work ethic for your kids, and I'm sure they're all hard workers, it's just we're all gonna go from point A, which is birth, to point B, which is death. We're all gonna get to those 2 points.
Regardless.
The distance is different, the route's different, the journey is different, but we're gonna get there.
Exactly.
So how we get there, some of it is fate. Well, I'm gonna say all of it is fate. It's just whatever God puts in your heart or in your mind.
I
That's
believe a
how
lot
you
in destiny. That
Yes.
destiny is
Destiny.
better.
Yeah, like right now. Look, we have Joe, we have Carlos that's gonna come up, and then we have you and us 3. We're all living in the same space at the same time, but from different views, right? Because we're all looking at each other differently.
Exactly.
The mere fact that, you know, Joe, I had, this is the first time I meet him. We spoke earlier today a little bit, and now I feel like I know him forever, just of the way he is, you know? And I hope he feels comfortable with us. The point is this, nothing happens by chance, nothing. Whether it's good or bad, everything happens for a reason, you know? And once you understand that, don't ask why. A lot of people are like, well, why did this happen? Don't worry about why. No, what are you gonna do with what happened? That's the important thing. Don't worry about why. You may not ever find out. You know, why did they cheat on me? Why didn't I get that job? Why did I get fired? Not because, you know, you're not wearing pants at work, that's why you got fired. Right, Mojo?
The last time I FaceTime.
See? So, but anyway, okay, so talk to us a little bit about the ESGR. I know you're very involved with that.
Yes, I've been there for 28 years, okay, with the ESGR. The ESGR is the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve, and we help out those soldiers who are deployed, and when they want to come back, okay, their employer tells them that, oh, we don't have a job for you.
Yeah.
Well, there's
Bullshit.
a USERRA law that will protect them.
Yep.
And we try to say that every time we have a briefing, and I think Ricky Quijano has been doing a good job of getting all the soldiers here and inviting different people to come talk to them about finances, about different things, including ESGR. And we tell them, okay, that you need to speak up, you need to call our 800 number. It gets dispersed and helped out, okay, throughout the different states. We're areas 13 here in Laredo. There's 25 areas in the state of Texas, divided into 4 regions. Each state has their ESGR representative. So no matter from where unit, the city that you come from, okay, there's always someone in your state or in your area that will help you to help you get your job back.
And that's really important because a lot of times these employers, They don't want you to leave. And look, I understand as an employer myself now, I get it.
Right.
But hold on a minute, your employee was called by a higher power to go serve. And you're gonna punish him by either threatening him to lose his job.
And to begin with, you accepted him.
Yeah, exactly.
Knowing
Right.
that he is part of another team.
When I went and when I went non joined PD, I went to basic at 18, right out of high school, and then I went to PD at 20. So when I went to PD already as a member of the National Guard,
Right.
with you guys, there was an administrator back then who now we're friends, but back then we were clashing all the time. He didn't want to let me go to a training. I'm like, I have federal orders. You, city, are not going to tell me that city orders do not supersede federal orders. So I left. But when I came back, he made it real hard for me to get back. He made me take a physical and psychological.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. I mean, he kept me out for 10 days before the results came back, just to mess with me. Now, if I had the money back then, if I had the knowledge, I just wanted to get back to work.
Right.
So I didn't fight it, but if that shit would happen now, shit. With people like Silverio Martinez, attorney law, friend of mine, we would jump in right away. So, but that's what these people need to understand. Don't mess with the troops. Do not mess with us. We're here to.
I had a couple of city employees, okay, that went out for summer camp. I said, how many days do you have for military leave with the city? He said 15 days. I said, okay. You work Monday to Friday? You work Saturday and Sunday also? I said, no, I'm off. Okay, so
that's
3
weeks.
You asked for
10 days.
5 days in 1 week and 5 days, that's 10 days. You still have 5 days left.
Yes.
And the city, I don't remember the title that they had at that time, okay, wanted to start the 2 weeks as a 2 weeks vacation also.
Yes.
Again, and
Say the name. Say the name, Coco. Say the name.
no, here's the problem. Well, here's one of the issues. Laredo is not a military town.
No.
That's the problem. So I can walk around in uniform all day, and if I get one person to say thank you for your service, that's too many. Yes or no?
It's changing though.
Well, it's starting to change.
Yeah,
The new generation,
Right.
the parents are teaching the new generation better. But the generation that we grew up with, which in my mind are the best soldiers ever, the Vietnam vets, those they had a hard time. Anyway, those generations, they got treated like shit. Coming back, called baby killers, all that stuff.
I
Very
think
unpopular.
even up to date, they're still not treated the way they're supposed to.
Right.
Because we've gone and come back and we get treated a different way, and then they're still like, oh, well, they're Vietnam vets.
No, and I know why those vets are salty and and cranky, because I mean they got treated like crap. But my respect to those guys. Every time I see them, I tell them thank you for your service, because they're still suffering through it.
Pay for their meal.
But the point is that Laredo not being a military town, we live right by the border. Unfortunately, the mentality here is not. They don't value what we do, what we've done. Even in law enforcement, I have cousins from Mexico. I remember they asked me, "Why are you a cop? Can't you do anything else?" I'm like, because they're thinking Mexican cops.
Yes.
Corrupt, whatever. Not that we don't have corrupt cops in the United States, but we're not. That's a whole different podcast. but that's not. We are not Mexican cops. We're better trained. We're better selected. Blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
So, but in their mind, a lot of those Mexican nationals that live in Laredo, they don't value what we do in uniform. They don't value it. So to them, like they don't give a shit, which is sad, right? Because we're here to put our lives on the line for everybody. So, but that's okay. That's all right. I went to combat. You know why? So I can get the discount in Dr. Ike's.
Absolutely.
10%.
Dr. Ike's or
Shout out to
Lowe's, Home Depot, you get them all. Yeah, that's the only reason I went to combat.
Chick-fil-A, we're in the loop.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's the only one in town. I'm like, what's the rest of the other Chick-fil-A's aren't patriotic enough? Or, yeah, they do full.
So you're there every day.
Yeah, every day.
Absolutely. Hey man, it's good stuff.
So ESGR.
Peanut oil. Yes.
We're gonna lose this. He's gonna get mad and take off.
Yeah.
You know how these first sergeants are.
Yeah. I hate first sergeants.
Let me ask you this, Bobo. Give us a quick your view on what you've seen from when you joined the military to where the military is now. I'm very concerned about drill sergeants not being able to be drill sergeants anymore. I'm very concerned about how in the start of the Iraqi war, they were allowing, they broke down the standards. We had a lot of Mexican cartel members join the military and get trained and do 3 or 4 years and then go back with all this knowledge. People that with records coming in, they lowered the standard because short of asking for a draft,
The recruiters, yes.
yeah, the recruiters were told, hey, let's just let everybody in, pretty much. So that caused a lot of problems. And then now we have, again, drill sergeants, if the trainees gets too stressed out, they have a little stress card, What do you think? Well, are you worried about stuff?
I think that as time changes, yes, we do have to change, but our standards need to remain the same. I have always mentioned the fact that I just had a conversation with a fellow veteran. He said, I was caught breaking into a car, and I was stopped. I remember I was like 17. I got sent to a judge, and he said, either go spend time in jail or join the military. And said, well, I joined the military. And that made me a whole lot better than what I am right now, or what I was back then. And so it has always helped, and we hear stories like that, and it has always been brought up that you move away from home. I was 18 years old when I left, and the fact was that the first time that I flew in an airplane, the first time that not even my mom went to go see me get off, had some friends that took me to the airport. So you learn to live by yourself, and that made you the type of person that you are.
Exactly.
Not that, I know when my son took off, I even took my mom to go all the way to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, to go see Junior graduate from basic training.
Wow.
And I said, I wish I would have had my parents.
It was different times. Different time. And again, Popito is where?
It's in Zapata.
In Zapata.
He just retired 2 months ago.
Okay, I know he was involved in politics over there
After
too.
22 years, active duty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, if I'm getting this retirement as a part-time,
Imagine what he's gonna get.
Right.
So we need to invite him to start,
and
sponsoring
then
the
he
program.
has his retirement because yes, he was a county commissioner in Precinct 3 in Zapata County. He was liked by all the snowbirds coming in
Right.
Yeah.
up north.
You know why? Because he looks white.
Yeah, exactly.
He looks like a gringo. Yeah, he does.
And blue eyes.
Yeah, blue eyes.
Yeah.
He's very attractive. I'm not gay, but if I was.
So he would always, I would always tell him, and now, by the time he got out, he was already started working as the veteran service officer in Zapata County.
Awesome.
So he's building his 10 years that he had as county commissioner, now he has 2 years part-time
Still with the
veteran
county,
service
right?
officer,
County.
and he's gonna continue.
That's good.
So he's going to build his 15, 20 years and be able to receive a retirement from the county commission, and it goes to his highest paid salary.
So what I want to do, Popo, Top, what I want to do is, hopefully one day we can bring you and him on. I know that I've seen many stories of you guys, because how often do you get a chance to be part of an organization with your son? Yeah, I have my son Josh, is a captain, active duty, airborne air assault, freaking ranger.
Right.
I'm very proud of him. And just like Popito has done more than you,
Right.
that's what you want.
Exactly.
And you want the next generation to be better than you.
The 2.0.
Yeah, the 2.0, and so my son has already done a lot more at his age than I ever did because he had a different opportunity.
Exactly.
We didn't have that opportunity. If I wanted to go to Ranger School and we joined, where were we going to go? Well, there was no school. Airborne, what airborne? Not that we didn't want to, I would have loved to be able to do that, but we just didn't have the opportunity.
Exactly.
And that's okay. We, again, our destiny, right? So, if we get an opportunity one time, I would love for him to come on. Like I said, I've seen a lot of stories of you guys, which is awesome. It's a testament to what you guys have done, you as a dad, and him for listening,
Right.
and seeing the example.
And I remembered him wanting to join, and I said, look, you're going to go talk to a recruiter, and you're going to make up your mind if you want to join or not.
Yeah.
I don't want you take off
Yeah.
and then come back and say, no, pues el jefito me hizo.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
No,
going to
no,
make you.
Yeah.
You're gonna go because you want to, not because I want to.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what it did.
Wait, did you both of you just say absolutely at the
Absolutely.
same time? Okay.
Absolutely.
What kind of weird shit is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Popo, you got shout outs coming from Cristina Guerra. She's saying hi. One of the viewers. So there you go.
Christy, yes, she's a member of LULAC, different organizations. I've been president of
That's
the
another podcast.
So how many organizations do you belong to?
No. How many what?
Organizations do you belong to?
How many different polos do you have?
Yeah.
I know.
Do you
have
how
a
many
piece of
underwears?
paper where I can write it?
It'll all be in my next book, guys. Read enough from my book.
Just talk about the organizations from LULAC, and I've been there for about 39, 40 years,
Yeah.
close to it. I joined back in the 70s, and I've been at 3 different councils. ESGR, 28 years. Okay, as president of the Community Action Agency. All of these are volunteer.
Yeah.
And my wife even tells me, said, if they don't pay you, why do you volunteer?
And you know that's the secret to longevity in a marriage.
Exactly.
You being out of the fucking house. That's the secret.
I do my things and she goes for my life.
Yeah, once in a while, hey, how you doing? You feel like it's fresh.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't you have a meeting to go to?
But it
That's
makes
crazy.
you more visible to the community.
Oh,
Of
yes.
course, running a couple of times for, but you know what? I never spent, I think the most that I spent was in my county treasurer's position in 2000, okay, that I spent 14,000. My opponent that won spent 95,000.
Wow.
So that's the difference.
95,000 and a lot
And I
of dead
lost by
people.
68 votes.
A lot of dead people voted at that.
All right.
So,
We're not even gonna get
but
into
they
that.
asked me, they asked me, he said, hey, why don't you run down that time? I said, you know what? I'm enjoying my retirement.
No.
I don't want to mess around with
No.
it. That's it.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, the time, look, time is precious, right?
Yep.
So, like right now, you're taking the time to be here, and we really appreciate it. This is the type of stuff that you want to do, not that you
Right.
have to do. And unfortunately, we go back to the community that we live in. Sometimes our people don't appreciate what we do, what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, what Joe's trying to do, what Carlos is trying to do with music, sometimes they don't appreciate it. They hate, they talk shit, they
They hate
Try
you
to
for
trip you
trying
up.
to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes you're like, why am I gonna do this? You know, I ran one time for a constable.
Oh, yeah.
Never again. I did it to prove a point.
Yes,
I
that's
did
what
it to
you do.
prove a point, to see the difference. And you know what? The
And
gentleman
you
that
bring that
went.
across, DJ. When you come out with your advertisement and what you're doing and you say it, okay, people will understand what, and you get respected more.
Exactly. So you know, the gentleman that won, he's doing a great job. You know, even though he's younger, but he's learned a lot, and he's
Weren't you a writing ballot at that time?
yeah. I mean, it's a long
That's
story.
excellent.
Yeah, that
Not only were you the underdog, like the people didn't know you, but you were writing ballot.
And
you
you know
still
what?
got people voting for
And
you.
unfortunately, you know, Laredo, people don't know how to do writing ballots, you know.
Oh, because of the second page.
Yeah, I was no, you're at the very end, like
Oh,
you got the ballot, it's back here like fine print, like, and then you have to, you know, write it a certain way. Anyway. So, but anyway, so yeah, I would not run again ever. I don't care. They told me, you know, 68 dead people are gonna vote for you, you know, because you know usually that's what you lose by. It's always a 60 number, right? I don't even know this. You know, I lost by 60.
It's crazy how
something.
that works.
Yeah, the same dead people voting. But anyway, so yeah, no, never again. Screw that. Sometimes you don't want to waste your time. You know, you don't want to.
Some of the other organizations that I've been for over 10 years has been, well, I helped the Border Olympics back in my younger years. I got my 10-year pin. I've worked with the Laredo Regional Food Bank,
Okay.
helping the less fortunate. And I've been a board member there for the last 12, 13 years. So, okay, all of these things that, and to schedule all of it at during your time, during the noon, and getting away from home and going, but
Yeah.
that keeps you active. That keeps
Yeah.
you busy.
So-
Oh, absolutely.
No, that as we get up in age, that's what you want. You want to keep your mind going, your body going, because it's so easy to get depressed and just
Oh,
give up.
yes.
It's so easy. And thank God that health wise, I mean, you're walking around. You know, a lot of people younger than you would love to
Oh,
be able to
yes.
walk and move the way you do.
I
So
see a couple of them
yeah,
with walkers and stuff like that.
yeah.
No, I got a stroke and they're only 71.
Oh, yeah.
72,
Right.
so-
Yeah.
So,
So that's awesome. So what's next for Popo Gonzalez? What's in the future? I know you want to write a book. right?
Couple of books.
Couple of books,
Yes, one of them, my mom, I said, baked cakes. I had an uncle that had the Superior Bakery that make the best semitas in town.
Right.
Okay, that one closed down. Okay, you have,
Where was that?
that was at the corner of San Eduardo in Calahan.
Very well.
Oh,
Now I remember.
Back then, I still have one of his sons who's baking. Okay, had one of his daughter, my nieces, that lives in El Paso, and she married an army guy. And the first time that I saw about 14, 15 years ago that she made some semitas, I said, wow, those semitas look like my uncle's semitas.
Yeah.
And it was from her. She was baking them in Hawaii.
In
Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Over there in Hawaii.
That's
Because
great.
her husband was stationed in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So all of those different little things. So I want to also write a book. There's no books that are in Spanish and English
There you
for
go.
young kids about pan de dulce. What's a campechana? What's a bolillo? What's a revolcada?
Guanola,
What's
Guanabito,
Yes.
Chabuco, El
All of
Loco,
those
La Mano.
names.
But I don't know sweet bread, right?
So that's another one of my.
El músico, la sirena.
Buenas.
Ah, no,
La
that's-
chalupa y buenas.
So that's another one.
That's
of my
actually that's different. That's different.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
I like that.
Wait,
I like that.
Can I just say something real quick?
You
So,
can say whatever you want.
this gentleman that's here before us, I mean, not only is he dear to me because, I get to call him friend, but he has always been a mentor in my personal life also as well. There hasn't been a venture that I haven't done or anything where I don't give him a call. When I started one of my business, some of my businesses or whatever, I give him a call. When I was blessed also with the opportunity to teach ROTC, what was the first thing I did? I called. I said, Popo, why ROTC? What should I do? Man, he gave me a whole breakdown, PowerPoint presentation and whatever. I was like, okay, Popo, just because of the money. That's all you have to say. No, but it was giving back to the community and stuff. But honestly, Popo,
And
there's
helping those kids. that are less
especially
fortunate.
that is the most important. That's what I was gonna, get into right now. Is one time I don't remember, but you told me several other older gentlemen, so they were all sergeant majors also. They all agreed, and you told me, be the mentor you always wish you had. You probably don't remember that, right? But you told me that. And that's
say-
my MO. It's in my
Yeah.
emails. It's my signature.
As a teacher, you
yeah.
say so many things, and I've had a
Ah,
young
but I
man.
mentiras en todo.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Lies all this
He,
time.
that meeting, he was full of shit.
But if anything, Laredo, if you don't take anything away, of course, his presence here and everything, and the friendship that we have, and the brothers in arms with the combat arms, and
Yeah.
I just want us, I want you to take something away from this. Live a life.
Exactly.
We only have one. We only have one. I empathize and I understand, and there's nothing wrong. You do your 8 to 5, and you go home, and that's it. Fine. But we look at us at our age, and we just started a podcast. Find things to do, and I like TJ and Southman, and I hope we do a million things behind this before we get here. So that, to me, because you talked about situations, and we go through things, it's destiny, and we live and experience things in life, but it's for a reason. And when we're traveling, whether it's tribulations or good times, you need to ask, what is my takeaway from this? So maybe I'm under the water right now, but what is my takeaway? As TJ said, yeah, you got fired because you weren't doing your thing, right, correct. So you have to analyze that. Why? What is my takeaway?
Right.
And look at life that way. Don't be sour. Yeah, you'll be mad for a little bit, but you gain nothing by staying sour. Let it go, learn from it, and move on.
Continue.
And this gentleman is living proof of that. So again, Popo, kudos, I'm so happy to see you. You're still doing your thing. You haven't slowed down a bit. If anything, you're probably doing more now
Oh,
than
yes.
before.
Now that you're
And,
retired, one of the things that I have on my Facebook page is living the life of a retired person.
There you go.
Enjoying.
there you go.
And that's basically what you have to do.
You have
To
no
enjoy it.
retirement written on
I
you.
get up every morning by 5:30 in the morning. My wife said, "You're not."
Oh, anyway, that's an old Army
Ah.
commercial. We done more before.
I know, right?
So
Be all you can be.
that reminds me of here we go with the first joke, right? So the guy, they're in the hospital, and one tells him, "Why are you here?" He goes, "I don't know." Why are you here? Well, I don't know, because every day in the morning at 5 o'clock, I go pee like I'm 5 years old. No big deal. I don't know. And every day at 6 in the morning, I go poop, normal, like if nothing. And the guy goes, then why are you here? Well, because I don't wake up till 7. Guys, you can take that joke with you.
He'll be around all day.
Yeah, I'll be here all day. But Popo, again, going to piggyback off of Mojo here, and I wasn't kidding. And many years, I don't even remember how long I've known. We've known each other for a very long time. I called you about this, asked you if you wanted to come on, and you said yes immediately. You didn't even think about it. You didn't ask, what do you want me to talk about? No.
That he was going to get paid.
Well, I did tell him he was going to get paid.
Una feriecita más.
Sometimes you gotta lie.
No, and you know what? I enjoy it, and I hate every time that I see someone going up to speak and has a paper
Oh,
reading what
Yeah,
they're saying.
that doesn't happen.
Come from within your heart,
Yeah,
what's in your heart.
Your testimony.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of people, sometimes they were, a while back, I think second show, they were asking, how much do y'all prepare for this podcast? We don't look. The preparation is him putting this stuff together. What we're gonna talk about, what we're gonna talk to you guys about, like right now, Pobre Carlos has no freaking idea what's gonna happen.
We're going to tear you.
But what I'm saying is that neither do we. It's just
Yes.
let's just have a conversation. That's why the motto
When it
is
comes up.
yes, because it's real and it's raw and it's right. You know.
I asked a question this morning when I took my grandkid to school. I said, "Ay, mijo, what's a podcast?" That's a new term that I don't even know what it is.
Same here. Same here.
The one thing he told me said, "Grandpa, that's just a conversation among people." That's
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, okay,
That's
I'm prepared.
exactly
So I was
what we-
prepared for
You,
it.
you had an idea. Yeah. So
I've never watched a podcast, much less be in one, but when they asked me for the help, I said, yeah. That's why I come soy locutor por accidente.
so there's another. After we started this, somebody else started a podcast in Laredo. Yeah, but they call they in the little flyer banners. Yeah, they spelled it podcast. I'm like, ay, Mexico, no te agarres. I'm like, podcast, okay. All right. Anyway,
Go for it.
yeah, we're not gonna.
That's fine. I mean, kudos to them.
Yeah.
They're doing something. We want a radio to do stuff, and they're doing it.
Now,
Hey,
the
go
difference
for it,
they
guys.
do their
Go for
stuff
it.
in Spanish, so we're doing it in English.
It's okay. And it's
Once in
okay.
a while, we'll jump to Spanish, but that's okay. I mean, look, this is what we want. We want to motivate people to
If
come
it
up to the year
took a bunch of
2025.
old combat veterans to get this kind of stuff started, then I'm good with it, guys. I mean, I'm just here temporarily. So
You know what?
I'm filling in the
You can be
gaps.
now. Go ahead.
Those are very nice, touchy words. Thank
All
you,
right.
Coach.
Anything else, Popo? Anything that?
No, I
you
want to
wanna-
thank you guys for having us and starting this out. Like you mentioned, the fact that you're starting at this stage in life, that's your old, you're young.
Yep.
Okay, you're always young at heart. So
No,
how old are you? So
Yep.
I'm never old.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just a
young at
number.
heart.
It's just a
And
number.
you continue, and I guess that's why I don't think about, I go visit all my doctors, and you always go to, just to be precautious.
Yeah,
It's
because
just routine. Just
it's
routine.
life, right? You never know what's gonna throw a curve
Exactly.
at you, so you just gotta be ready.
But be prepared. That's the main thing. Always
Don't be scared. Be prepared. Yeah.
Always
Yeah,
be
exactly.
prepared.
So again, Popo, thank you for your time. We're gonna party. Like
Thank
I
you,
said,
guys.
if we can get you and your son together, I would love to have that podcast.
I'll be great, just
And
let us
maybe
know.
Mama,
and
maybe
we'll-
with Shashi.
I'll let him know.
Two generations are coming up.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'd be nice.
So you know what? That's a good point. So we like to
The
give
silent ranks.
we like to give a lot of honor and respect to the servicemen, but we forget about the true
wives,
heroes,
the husbands,
the ones
the
behind the
children.
scenes, the ones that took care of the house,
Right.
the ones that
Yes.
that because of them, your world was
Easier.
managed.
And
You can
with
focus.
ESGR, we have my boss is a Patriot Award.
Oh, that's right.
We stress to the
Yeah.
service
I used that
members
one time. I used it.
that they go ahead and turn in their supervisor, because that guy that gives them the go ahead and take off. And a lot of them that don't know that after they come back after 9-10 months, that they have up to 30-40 days of free time, so they can get their minds get back into order, so they can go back into civilian life.
That's right.
And so that's one of the laws that helps them to get back.
Can I cash that in? No.
So a lot of employers, you say, you're back already. Can you come work tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
need to get my stuff taken care of.
It's just a.
So that's interesting because coming back after my second tour, I went back to work. There was no, of course, things change, right? Technology changes, everything changes, and now just get back to shift, and you gotta, so yeah, there's a lot of work to be done to learn how to deal with veterans and service people.
Right.
Hopefully, things have gotten better because of the programs like the ESGR and stuff. So, but we're not there yet. Just like people need to be more aware of autism, how to work with these people and live with these people. They gotta learn how to live with us, our type of people, because we're a little different.
Yep.
We're a little different. So again, Bobo, thank you so much.
you,
You're
guys.
welcome anytime. This is your house. So again, let me talk about these guys real quick. Switch it over to our ugly faces.
Before we switch to anything, I know you told me not to mention his name or anything, but I gotta give him kudos because he was here last week also. Luciano Santana.
Oh, yeah.
Lucio Santana, and
Of course.
I never want to hear that name, but Lucio is, he's launching that wrestling academy. There you go. But anyway, he's launching that new wrestling academy thing.
Right.
He wants to start in Laredo. Again, kudos to him. Reach out to him. We put all his information also. If you guys are still interested in that, but I think he deserves to be mentioned again.
Of course.
It takes a lot of effort to do what he's going to do, along with all his partners in crime that are going to help and make this happen. Let's support them, man. That's even if you just show up to see what they're doing, how they're doing it. If your child is interested and then you want to make sure that everything's safe, that they check it out. Once it's open, once it's launched, just stop by and say hi. Tell them you heard about his academy at Big River Talks, man.
I can't wait until he starts his academy because I'm gonna kick his ass because he called me out last time. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and he says now the term it's hashtag it's TJ. If it's older than old, he said it's TJ.
So I didn't do it the last time because
out of respect
for 10-year-old bodies.
You don't hit kids,
yeah. You don't hit kids. So, but anyway, again, guys, let me talk to you about the sponsors again. Mariachi Mezcal de Texas. Remember, we're the second best mariachi in Laredo. Silverio Martinez, attorney-at-law, Warrior Protection Services, for all your security needs. Wizard Wicks, Eric, if you're watching, thank you for the pizza. Liar.
Said no one.
Said no one. And Mariachi Mix, Outfitters and More, Whispered Bar and Grill, Lounge, I'm sorry. Again, always having events, always bringing artists like the one that we got coming up next. So hopefully you'll see this artist at Whispered Bar sometime soon. Tejano Express Radio, I'm sorry, and then the Classic Cats. So we really appreciate all the sponsorships. Guys, we are going to be accepting more sponsors soon. We'll give you a number for the sales department when we get it going. So if you want to...
All I can say to you and tell Laredo sponsors and guests that want to show up, get on the bus right now.
Yep.
This thing's going to grow. This thing's going to go big. I kid you not, just get on the bus now. I can't say that enough.
And also, just to let y'all know that, as part of this is going to be a whole thing, Tejano Express Radio as well will be announcing it for all the Thursday episodes. And we'll let you know ahead of time. And my apologies to all the public because I was out on South Sick with the sinus congestion. And so I didn't have any shows. So tomorrow morning, we'll be back up and running up in the air in the morning show. So give us a call. Give us a call here right now at 956-813-7737. Yeah, send a text or whatever so you can talk to our next guest.
All right. So, our next guest came in earlier and been dying to, get behind the mic. So we have with us a guest that is very up and coming, I would say, Carlos, right? Say yes.
It sounds nice. It sounds nice. Something coming
So Carlos T. Garcia, thank you so much for being here. Well, I want Laredo to know who you are, to know of what you're trying to do with Tejano. And we spoke yesterday, and I told you, and I mean this, I love the old school sound. I love the Tejano true sound that you're producing, because we're losing that. Yeah. We're losing it to new groups, which their music is fine, but those of us that grew up with classic Tejano,
big band,
we're losing that. Nobody's really doing it. There's a good fan base, and our fan base is the one with the money. So you are catering to the right fan base. So let me, I'll let you speak and tell us who you are and what you're doing, and take it away, like Johnny Canales used to say.
Well, first and foremost, my hats off to you guys, and I really do thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service. And I thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I'm I guess up and coming. It makes me sound young, right? That's why I like the word up and coming. But actually, I've been around for quite a while. I've been part of many different bands, different styles of music also. But Tejano is just something that I kind of fell into. First time that Selena came down with to the Jalapeno Festival, that was the first time I actually saw a Tejano band.
Oh, man.
And I fell in love with Selena, right? But then I fell in love with the music as well. And after that, I just started to kind of get immersed into the Tejano music. And before I knew it, I was auditioning for a band because I play drums. And so I was auditioning for a band.
Another drummer.
Yeah, everybody's a drummer, right? What happened was that we ended up going to practice for the first time, and we're waiting for our vocalist to get there, and he never got there. So we kind of practiced on our own, and I don't even remember how or why, but the keyboard player asked me to sing a song. Okay, so I sang along to a song. The bass player came out and he said, "Hey, that sounds really good." And but the bass player was the singer's brother. So I was like, no, nothing's ever gonna happen, right? They're never gonna replace that singer with me, right? Well, unfortunately, what happened is that he didn't show up because he passed away that night.
Oh,
so
wait.
whoa!
Just because he passed away, he didn't show up. That's selfish.
And I
Totally got a different humor.
So the next day, I was trying to learn sound stuff. Because I was in a rock band, so I wanted to learn how to run the board.
Okay.
So there was this other band that lived actually like 3 blocks from my house, and it was a Tejano band. So I stopped one day. I didn't know, I was young. I just kind of went in there and I said, "Hey, you know what? Can I watch you guys?" And he goes, "No problem." And then I asked him, "I want to learn how to do the sound." He goes, "No problem." So little by little, I ended up staying there for months and months and months. But the very next day after that practice, they asked me, they said, "Did you know that," they called him Fudge, "Did you know he passed away?" And I said, "I don't know who that is." And I said, "He's the singer for Clips." I was like, "Oh, I know him by Hector, which is his name." So I didn't know his nickname. I said, "No, I didn't know." And I was like, "Oh." So I found out, I talked to the guys, and they decided not to do anything for a while. So maybe like 6 months later, I was at Hermes downtown. And this friend of mine, guitar player, he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" They call me Charlie. "Hey, Charlie, how's it going?" I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "Hey, Chewy, the keyboard player, is looking for you." I was like, "Nah, I'm already playing over here. I'm comfortable and this and that." Because he was like, "Oh, they don't want you to play. They want you to sing." I was like, "Me sing?" I had never really sang with anybody before. And I said, "No, I don't think so." I turned around to look at something behind the glass. And this guy's already on his cell phone. "Hey, Joey, I'm here with Charlie." So I got the phone and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And I said, "Look, man, I don't know anything about singing. I don't sing, not professionally or really in front of people." He goes, "Yeah, because we really want you to try out and this and that." I said, "Look, well, you know what? I'll go. But if you don't like it, just let me know. If I don't like it, I'll let you know. And we'll leave it at that. We'll part in a peaceful term." And was 8 years later, we were still playing together. We played countless of times. We played the Roundup for a whole year. We were there for a whole year. We were the house band for a whole year. And that gave me a lot of experience. And a lot of, it empowered me, it gave me a lot of, it made me believe in what I was doing.
Right.
Yeah, because
Self-worth.
Because at first, I was like, I'm kind of just doing this because they want me to do it. I'm not sure I can do it. But then little by little, and then people always come up to you and they're very nice. And, "Oh, you all sound real good. Yeah, you sound really nice. Let me do this." And so yeah, it starts building you up and gives you more and more confidence and stuff like that. So like I said, I've been around music, and this was in the early 90s.
I was going to ask you that. What time frame was this when you were?
It was around 90. Well, actually no, it was mid 90s,
Mid-90s?
95, 96, around there.
Round up, still going on, yeah.
Yeah. So and it was DJ Chuy. DJ Chuy
Right.
was our keyboard player, and it was Grupo Pobreza, then Grupo Fronteras. Well, not Frontera, Grupo Fronteras
Yes.
back then.
Yeah, back then.
And then I moved on to other bands and stuff like that. But fast forward to what was it, 2018? Or actually 2016, around 2017. I ran into this contest called Tejano Idol online. And I was gonna audition, but unfortunately I had to have neck surgery that year, so I wasn't ready for the auditions. So I had to wait out the next year. So I went 2017. I got chosen. I ended up coming in like third or fourth place. And I was like, no, you know what? I don't think I want to do this again. So then the president called me up and she said, we'd love to have you back. I said, you know what? I didn't dislike it, but if I were to go back, I would like to pick my own music, my own song.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And she says, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do that. So that following year, we were able to choose our own song.
So they didn't let you choose that first time?
The first time was kind of like a surprise thing. They would send it to you like a couple weeks before, and they would tell you this is the song you're gonna sing. So
That's not.
I mean, it's okay. It's as a professional, which they want you to be. It's okay because you need to prepare for
You're
it.
supposed to, yeah,
But
Yeah.
when it's a track, it's sometimes it could be a different key. Sometimes it's too low, sometimes it's too high.
that's my
But the second time around, I was able to pick my songs. So I was happy with the song. I felt more comfortable with the song. I felt like I could kind of show off a little bit more with the songs. So that made a difference, and I ended up winning that year. But right before the contest, I had already started to record a song, and just winning the contest made it like even better. I was like, okay, so this kind of helps me out to kind of put out the song, and so I won in November 2018, and I released my first song January, and it did really well. Surprisingly, for me because I was like a new artist for everybody because nobody really knew who I was because I had been in bands my whole life, but never as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So this for me was a big step up. I was like, wow, now I'm the focus of the music. So I released the song, I released the video, and it all did really well. We went into the second song, it was doing okay, and then all of a sudden, COVID. It's like, but so we went through COVID, we did okay, but coming out of COVID, it was just like starting all over.
Yeah.
So as a new artist, it's the worst. It comes to
Devastating.
Yeah, it completely stops you in your tracks. As an established artist, it's a little different because you still have a fan base.
Right.
And a lot of these guys were doing online
Videos,
concerts, and stuff like that. And so that kept them in the public eye. And for us, it would be, because we'd have like maybe 10 followers or 10 people watching us. It's not the same.
Right.
If they don't know your name, they're not gonna stick around. They don't know your music and stuff like that. I've gotten to the point where I have a good amount of followers, and so when we do go out and play, we do get a bigger crowd now and stuff like that. But now I'm also part of a band called Tejano Favorites, and we've been going to play out of town and stuff, and we've had a good response so far. So they're calling us to go play. So it's always a good feeling to get called because now you're not always just looking for work. Now that the work is coming to you.
Yeah.
So it means that they like what they're listening to, they're hearing, and they're enjoying the music. And it just pushes you to want to do more. So far, on my own, recorded, I think I'm up to 7 singles now. And the reason music is in my life is because of my family, my mom, my dad, everybody. My mom used to sing in town all the time, and she used to sing mariachi and boleros, romantic music, stuff like that, ballads. And there was never a party that we would go to that she wasn't asked to sing. We would get there, viene Norma que se eche una canción. una canción an hour at least.
Yeah.
So we all knew, it's like, it's like, you know, and we got invited to a lot of nice weddings and quinceañeras because of my mom. Because people wanted her to go, they wanted her to sing. They were gonna have mariachis. Oh, let's get Norma to sing, you know. So a lot of people knew her, and she kind of tried to push me to sing in front of people, but I was always very shy. As a little kid, even into my teens, I was super shy. So that's why for me, drums was the most obvious choice. You know, I get to play music.
But you're behind everybody.
But I'm behind everybody, you know.
Nobody sees me.
And I had all my cymbals, and I was over there in the back doing whatever I wanted to do. These guys, the ones that I was trying to learn sound from, they were called the Reunion Band, and they're two of them were brothers. Like he was, they were both firefighters.
Okay.
And they were super cool, and they're like, we want you to learn and stick around and stuff like that. And one day after months, the drummer didn't show up one day, and they go, "You play drums. You've heard the songs enough times. Why don't you sit back here?" Okay, I was a rocker, mind you. I never played anything except rock, and I'm talking about like heavy metal,
AC/DC,
all Motley Crue, Megadeth,
Kiss, all that good stuff.
So for me, I mean, it was new, but I had heard it, so I think I can hang around. I think I can hang with these guys enough to where I could. And it was cumbia, so it was basic stuff. I wasn't doing anything wild or anything, but I was keeping time. Then one day the drummer didn't show up and the singer didn't show up. So the keyboard player, Mando, he goes, "Sing the song. You know the song. Kind of, you've heard it again. You've heard the song enough times." So I was like, all right. So I started singing. I think it was Desert Love or something like that. And I was like, "Hey, that's pretty good." So then fast forward to the Christmas party that they had at the Walker Plaza. He goes, because I was helping him out, so I was kind of their roadie. I was helping out, and he goes, "Hey, bring a nice shirt." I'm like, okay. I guess they don't want me to look all dirty or whatever. But towards the middle of the night, he says, "Go change your shirt." Okay, change my shirt. And then they played another song, and then when they finished, he goes, "We want to invite somebody up on stage to sing songs." And he looked at me, and I was like, well, yeah. And so my first song ever was Excelencia song, it's Tuceros. And it was the craziest thing because we did the song and everybody was enjoying the song, and it makes you enjoy the moment, right? And they were dancing and all that, and when they finished, they all clapped, and I went back to sit down and stuff like that. At that time, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
Like, I love this. I want to do this forever. But still, I didn't have that confidence. So that's what happened, and that's when that other thing happened, that I went to practice with other guys, and I was auditioning, and it didn't work out because the singer passed away, stuff like that. But that started everything. They put everything in motion. So after that, I went into other groups, and other groups. And then I did Tejano Ano, and now it's been 5 years, 7 songs later. My last single was a ballad that I recorded with Shelly Lares. It's called Quien Tuvo la Culpa. And I mean, just working with somebody of that type of talent, of that caliber, you know, at that, you know, that level is humbling. Yeah, because I mean, I was in that studio with her. She's got 40 years under her belt of performing and recording, and I mean the whole deal, you know, awards. And here's little, you know, like.
Okay, Carlos, I'm gonna let you record a song on that. I know where you're going with it.
That's where I was going.
So let me ask you this: those 7 songs that you released, are you writing them? Are you collaborating with somebody? Are you a writer or interpreter, or how would you classify yourself?
2 of the songs that are out there are mine.
Okay, good.
The first song and the second to the last song.
Nice.
And it's weird because I thought I had lost my touch with the writing, and or I don't know, I guess maybe the touch with my connection with my feelings to my emotions or something, because I hadn't written a song in years. And the night before last, I was sitting down and I was listening to somebody talk, and it's always the same thing. It's like 2 or 3 words or a little phrase or something. I was like,
Ya levántate.
so I went and I was like the 3 words and like within like 15 minutes I had already written the whole thing out and all that.
That's what it was.
So and that's my writing process. I can't say, you know what, Mr. Gonzalez told me to write about this. And okay, so I'm gonna write a song for him about that. I can't do that.
No, that's, I've heard Mr. Beto Ramon does that. He's
Yes.
motivated. He focuses on the target and he writes and then there's people like you that have to be inspired, or maybe you see the connection that other people hadn't seen. And like you said, sometimes when you lose the touch, whatever, that's why sometimes you gotta touch yourself. Get it? Get it?
Hello.
Come on.
That's another.
Coming around for a second.
Anyway, so 2 of those songs are yours, which is awesome. And you know what? It just it takes it to a different level. When you're a singer songwriter, it's that's why people like Shakira and all these that write their own songs that are hits. Of course, it helps that she's gorgeous, right?
Yes.
And her hips don't lie, which I don't believe. I'm sure they do lie. The point is that that's a different level of musician. Always.
I mean, I just wish I could play an instrument other than the drums, so I could arrange the music or even just to come.
So let me ask you this: you cannot read music.
I cannot read.
See, so thank you. So we talked about that last time. Yeah, because I cannot read music either.
You can't read it.
I can't read anything, period. I tried reading Braille from a moving car, broke my arm.
Oh,
Get it? Get it? Braille?
Hello.
Where's Lucio?
Screw that guy.
I want to go sit back in there.
Yeah, where's Lucio to be putting you in your place?
So I always argue with people that were trained to read music. Because I don't know. Yeah, there's a benefit to it, of course.
Oh yes.
If you're in a band, I'm talking about a classical band, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're not, I mean, if you know the chords, like I can play guitar, I can play drums. So you tell me the chords, I get it, and I already know the different transitions. But if you're gonna put music sheet in front of me, might as well put Chinese because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, and I admire whoever
Yes.
can play with music and is that structured, because I think I have a little bit of ADD. Well, I do. I don't think I know I do.
That's another podcast.
So
That's
yeah.
another podcast.
So I can't sit down and read a whole chapter, like not the whole thing. What I learned to do was skim through the chapter, like speed read, and then just pick up as much as I could. So that was college life for me. It was speed read, go to class, listen to the lecture, and then do the hands-on stuff. So from there, that's how I put everything together. But not from the book, because some of these guys were able to go in there and tell you everything that was in the chapter, and I was like, wow.
There's something a little worse than what you have, which is I have. It's skim through, but read back, like page start from the back.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, suppose that's why I did learn some notes. I did learn some like counts and stuff like that. I don't remember anything anymore. But I did at one point when we were in middle school, learn like about quarter notes and stuff like that. So I was able to read a little bit, but I don't use any of that because I don't remember. So I mean, if I could, I'd love to, because I would love to pick up a guitar and just kind of learn songs. But it also, I think for live music, I think if you're just following the notes all the time, it's very mechanical.
Well, see, that's the thing.
It's learned and it's mechanical.
It's gotta come from the heart.
Yes.
You gotta know the music, but it also, cause look, you may be feeling, you may have been having a bad day, but you still have to go out there and perform. Right? Doesn't matter. The people don't give a shit that your dog died, that you got fired. They don't give a shit. Dance monkey boy, right? Because they're paying for it. So you have to get out there and perform, no matter how you feel. That's a profession, and so it's got to come from the heart, and you got to be motivated and know the music enough And sometimes if you're very structured, in my opinion, you know, it doesn't come out as natural. Now there's some guys and girls out there that are very good at it.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like it doesn't even look like they're reading, but to me, I don't know. It's got pros and cons on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, I've had so many ideas for songs that I have to get it on the phone and go da 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 da, and then hopefully it record it so that I got the melody. Now I gotta put the words to it.
It's on my phone right now.
Right.
I recorded it a couple nights ago because, like I said, it was just, and that's the way I wrote the first song. I was sitting in the car with my son, waiting for my wife. We were visiting a friend, and she was just trying to pick something up. And you know, my wife was talking to our lady friend, and you know how that starts. Like, oh, we're just gonna pick something up, and it's like 10, 15,
2
20
hours
minutes.
later.
Yeah. And
You wrote like 5 songs already.
Yes. And that was actually my first song ever. I was sitting in the car, and I was listening to a commercial on the radio station. And before they would have commercials for telenovelas, like Telemundo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was in the car, and we're listening to radio, and it was a part of the novela, and they were talking about something. And like I said, it wasn't even, those words didn't even have to do anything with my song, but it made me think, and I just started writing. And I was in the car, and I was talking to my son, and I was just writing. He was like 2 years old, and I was writing in the car, and on a piece of cardboard that I found like on the floor, and I was like writing. And I was like, wow, this is actually good. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to remember the melody, and that's something that always happens. I always forget the melody. I've written countless numbers of songs that I forget the melody.
I'm with you on that.
So I've thrown away stuff.
Yes, you have it written, but you're like, what the hell?
It's nothing without the melody.
Yep.
No, for me, because like I said, I don't write music. I write songs. I don't write music. So if I forget the melody, then those words are meaningless to me.
Meaningless.
So I've thrown away so many songs because of that. And then, but there's songs that I don't know why, like that first song, it just stayed in my brain. It was just ingrained in my brain that I remembered it. I got home. I was able to record it into a little 4-track that I had at home, and so I was able to do that one. The second to the last song that I recorded, I don't think I ever recorded that anywhere, but that song stayed in my head also. And it's certain songs that'll stay with me. Yeah. Others, I'll go back and I was like, oh, I like this song. You know, I had forgotten about this song. But like I said, it's a different process. Yeah. So my songs up to now have been 2 original songs, and I think 2 songs that were written. They're original songs because they were written for me. They were given to me by the author. So so they're original, but they're originally recorded by me. But they're written by. He's actually a super talented writer. He's out of Monterrey, and his name's Eduardo Yayonglian. And he's written for Fiebre, Naquillo, Jay Perez, you know. Yeah. So for me, the first song was an honor just to have. The second one, I was like, you know what? I called him up and I said, you know what? I need a song, and I want it to be a duet. You got it. He called me like a month later. He says, I'm gonna send you 3 songs. Pick whatever you want. And I was like, oh, okay. So, and that was Tiento La Puta. And you know what? I didn't even listen to the next 2 songs until later, because as soon as I heard this song, I was like, "You're trapped." This is the one. I was like, "This is the song. This is the one I want." Yeah. So that's the one we recorded. And I've done like 1 Christmas song on my own. I did 1 collaboration with another local artist, Maritza Gomez. Yeah.
We're trying to have her also over here.
And so we did some things with that. We did a couple of parades. We did one in Cotula, and we did parades here. We're promoting the song.
Did you attend Tejano Fest or Tejano
Fanfare? We did Fanfare. We played on Sunday. It was a Sunday, and it was a good crowd. We had fun, and from there we started getting some attention, and we were actually nominated as a band for. I don't remember if it's Best Tejano Band or something for the All-Star Music Awards.
Okay, yeah.
So, and that's coming up, I think, in this month in May.
This month in May,
yeah.
as a matter of fact.
So, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Also, it should be a lot of fun. I think we're going to perform that day also. Nice. So it should be pretty cool. This is the first time.
It's going to be in San Antonio.
I think it's May 26th.
May 26th, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then I think in January, February, that song Kento Wala Pupa was nominated for Best Ballad at the Premios Tejano Mundial.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we lost out to another Laredo, which is Pira Studio. So, you know what? There's nothing to sneeze at, you know, it's like,
But you
for me,
won.
No.
You won because you were nominated.
You were
that's
nominated.
it.
Yeah.
And that's the
You're
way I
getting
took
the
it.
attention. You're getting the exposure.
And that's the way I took it because I was like, well, I mean, first of all, I was on that ballot with Pira Studio. And it's nothing short of a superstar, right? In the Tejano world. And the other one is that I had recorded the song with Shelly Lavis, you know. So for me, I was like, I was the clouds, you know.
And let me tell you one thing, Carlos. I mean, I'm with you because when I was nominated and I was on the ballot for Best Radio Personality last year, I was like in shock first, which I didn't know. So, you know, a friend of mine in Waco, Texas told me, hey, have you seen Facebook? Have you seen this and that? I said, no. I said, why? And I thought he was always pulling, you know, because he was always pulling my legs.
Yeah.
Your name is on the ballot.
That was a chiropractor.
I said, what? He said, yeah. Your name is on the ballot and you were nominated last year. So I stopped pushing. So yeah, unfortunate. And I didn't get to the finals.
Yeah.
But you know.
And going back on to the reading music, I have a little
Yeah.
tidbit to share with you for both of you guys. Don't feel bad because I know some guys, musicians, professional musicians also, not even gonna throw any names out there with that. And they're singing when they're playing and they read their music and it's like, nope, we're not gonna do that now. And they'll totally change it. So like why even learn it? You know?
Yeah.
I mean it's like you said, it's nice, it's something enhancing, but I think it's just so rigid, you know, it doesn't give you like that freedom to because they do it. They'll run over it like nope and they just line it out and they put whatever they're gonna put on.
You know, and it's just weird at times because I have played with some musicians that they're excellent musicians and
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
really good at reading their music. But it was funny because we got to the gig and the man says, I forgot my notes. And he goes, I don't think you can play. And I said, what do you mean? At that point, I had never encountered anything like that. So for me, that was mind blowing. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, I don't have my charts. I said, well, you've played the songs before, right? And it was, yeah. And he goes, so you can't improvise?
They can't read the story because
No.
they don't know.
Yeah, he goes, no, I can't improvise because I need my notes. If not, I
I
can't
think
play.
it's a good thing to know. Like, you know, it's a plus and an enhancer for you as an artist or a musician, but I mean,
You can't rely on that. It's like technology, you know, when we used to have a sound system back in the day, it was all CDs. Now it's all computerized, right?
but
Guess what? Those CDs are not gonna disappear. You know, if this doesn't turn on and you don't have backup, you're screwed. You know, you're done.
I remember those days. I used to have a sound system myself many years ago. And when I started, I was doing one cassette deck and one CD player, like a home CD player.
right.
And so I had fixed it to where on the sleeve for the cassette, I had put all the times for where the songs were, so I could fast forward and rewind and find the song. So that's how I was playing my music at first. And then the CDs, I got a second CD player. I was like,
Much better.
and then moving along, the professional disc players and all that, and with the reverse and loop and all that. I was like,
The cassette,
wow. And then
the workout playlist.
oh yeah, and then I started doing the computer stuff, but I always carried a CD player.
Yeah.
And I always carried mixes of what I was doing, like maybe the last show or something like that, because
Burn the CD.
yes, because I've always been afraid of the computer crashing and not being able to do something.
Well, it's just, you're aware of what can happen
Oh,
and you're prepared. There's nothing wrong with that.
And it happened twice. Once it happened because the power that I had to my CD player, the fuse gave out and at the place where I was at. And the second time, my computer just crashed. And that's the worst feeling ever. Like,
Oh yeah.
But that's my.
You grabbed your microphone and you started singing.
I should have, right?
Right.
No, but I did start talking right away, and I said, hey, I'm sorry, real quick, I'm just gonna start it up again. and the music was already cued. That's the thing. I always had the CD player
Technical
cued,
difficulties.
and I was like, boom, and then so we went from like Daddy Yankees to whatever, and then I had everything else, and musicales, and so everybody's like looking at me like, are you crazy or what? I was like, well, kind of went into it. But it was, I mean, it was challenging, but it was fun. And I learned a lot about music. I learned a lot about reading people, which is something that we do now as musicians, as performers. Is like, okay, they're not dancing to this.
Yeah, you gotta read your audience.
Yeah, we learned that art also.
Yeah.
Like yeah, the hands are banging, and so that's some country or figure out your crowd.
And it's kind of cool that for us, it's a little easier because we're catering to the Tejano crowd.
Right.
So it's a little easier, but now we have to think about it. Okay, they're not dancing to this. Let's throw a pango, let's throw a polka, let's throw something in there, and then you'll see them react. And, okay,
It's just such a diversified group now. They're there for the Tejano, but after a while, like, I don't want to hear Tejano. I'm like, okay, here comes a wapango, here comes a poquita, whatever, and you got to do that.
They love, especially towards the end of the night, like tragos amargos and entre cantina y cantina and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's
Those are
the hard ripping song.
Oh yeah, and they love that. Once that towards the end of the night, everybody's kind of drinking and everybody's a little happy.
They're feeling good. And
Everybody's feeling good.
everybody's crying.
And you bring out tragos amargos and you hear those gritos.
Otra vez. Otra vez.
Everybody loves those songs. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoy it. Going out there every night.
You just hit the keyword. You enjoy it. That's great.
I mean, it's I was asked by a musician, and he's a well-known musician, and he's done it all. He's been here. He goes, what do you expect what are you expecting from all this? And I said, nothing. I said, I
Everything and nothing.
I was like, I just want to go out there. I want to
and have
play.
fun.
I want to go out and visit different towns, meet new people, enjoy myself. I like the fact that we're able to go. Let's say we go out and play tonight at X Bar, and Fred had a bad day today. He couldn't get the sound going or whatever. He's all frustrated. But when he gets there and he starts listening to the music and we're doing our job, then he starts having a good time, and I feel like we've accomplished what we want. What we're out there to do, and what they paid us to do. Because like he said, we are getting paid to do our job, and our job is to do the best that we can, and of course we enjoy ourselves at the same time. I'm not gonna say that it's always a drag, and like you said, sometimes we go out there even if we don't feel 100%.
You can't explain that to the crowd. I can't expect them to
No,
understand that.
no.
I paid, we paid, we want to see this.
Yeah. The only thing was last week I was my voice gave out. I was sick and throat, nose, the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I gave it my all, and I sang until I couldn't sing anymore. Good thing is that the guys in the group, they're all really good musicians, and they all sing. So I kind of stepped back, and they did their thing. And the crowd, the people that were there, they all loved it. They had fun. They danced. So they did their job. They helped me out as well. For the past couple months, well, since January, I tore most of my shoulder. So I'm pending surgery.
Oh.
And I hurt my back, and long story. So
You're a very clumsy guy, aren't you?
I see you're a wrestler.
well, you know what? That kind of brings me back to that thing you were talking about, the wrestling. I was like, oh, I'd love to do that, but this body can't do that. Someone asked me to go like,
No, it's good. My body's gonna be
because we went to a wrestling show maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was a benefit for a young man that passed away, and I was watching these guys perform, and I was like, that's awesome,
It's magic, right?
It is, it's awesome. I love to watch it. And I kept thinking, hey, I wish I could do that, but then I was standing there with a torn muscle, and I was like, nah, we're good.
Maybe not.
My body's it's not ready for this.
All right, Carlos. So what's happening? What's going to happen here in the near future? What are we expecting? New material? Anything?
Yes. We are working.
Before that, time out.
Sure. Go ahead.
Are you going to do any mariachi music?
I want to go back to. I want to go back to and do another mariachi song.
Who did you record with?
I recorded with Ruben Vargas and Rene Gasca.
Okay.
They did Hermoso Cariño for me, the music. So I recorded that song. That was 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And we did a dual release. We did Tejano and we did a mariachi version. And that was my first song, or my first try for doing a mariachi song. And I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, I love mariachi music. I never thought I had the voice to do it.
It's a different genre. So I know what you're saying, and because mostly mariachi, but I did kaya with with Mas. Well, not with Mas. I did it to memorialize Jimmy after he died. And I called his son, Mike, and told him, look, I'm not here to make money. I just want to record a song in honor of your dad.
Yeah.
But my selfish reason was I wanted to hear my voice with Tejano.
Yes.
Because it's a different genre, it's a different speed, it's a different technique.
Yeah.
People think that, like Selena, rest in peace, what she was doing crossing over, to English, I mean, she was about to take off.
Oh, yeah.
That star was going out of this world.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a different thing. I don't want to get too much into that, but what I'm saying is that people don't understand that just because you can sing doesn't mean that you can sing anything.
Yeah.
So I see I appreciate your curiosity. Can I do it?
Oh yeah. Well, I actually talked to Ruben first, and I said, hey, you know what? I want to do this. I've never done mariachi before, so he goes, yeah, why not? And he goes, come on over and we'll go over it. So we got there, and he started to, what key do you want to do it? So, okay, going back to the notes. I don't know about keys. I said, I don't know.
En lo
Original?
En lo que salga.
Original? He goes, okay. So he did it. And so I started to sing, and he goes, you know what? That sounds good. I said, are you sure? I'm like, you think I can pull it off? He goes, yeah, for sure. So he recorded the song and all this, and I still had my reservations. I still was like, I've never done this before. The thing is, I picked the worst song in this respect, not because it's a great song, but I picked the worst song to cover because one, it's an iconic song.
Yes. And people are expecting us. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and two, Vicente Fernandez.
Yes.
So he's like, you know what? I better do it justice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get
There's pressure. There's a
lot of pressure, especially with a song like that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, I know what you meant. The worst. It was the best, but the worst.
See, it was the best song, but it was the worst
Yeah.
because it was my first try.
Yeah.
So I was like, híjole, so now the pressure's on me, right? So I recorded and we released the song, and nothing but good comments and stuff like that. So I was very encouraged, and I was like, you know what, I want to do this again. So I haven't picked the song yet, but yes.
So let's do something, Carlos, because going back to Ruben Vargas, in my mind, probably one of the best minds. He can play anything.
Oh yeah.
He can play anything. In fact, we had a funeral on Tuesday and one yesterday, and he played with us. He'll come in. I called him up when we need another member. He's like, "What do you want me to take? Guitar, trumpet, vihuela, violin. What do you want me to take? Accordion. Well, I mean, he plays everything.
Yeah.
And that guy knows about music.
Yeah.
So the song that I recorded, the Tejano song, he's the one that did almost all the instruments that you hear.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him to help me out with that, and actually your brother helped me out with the drums. So you hear Bojo too doing the drums, and you hear Ruben doing everything else. From the accordion was a synthesizer, but the bass, the guitar, the vihuela, the trumpet, everything he did. It was awesome.
It's funny because that day I went to his house, and he had, I don't know how many different instruments all around the studio or his practice area. And I said, "Do you play that?" And he goes, "Yeah." "Do you play that?" "Yeah." "You play that?" "Yeah." He goes, I think he said, I'm probably exaggerating, but I'm not sure, but he said like 100 different instruments.
Yeah, he probably.
Holy moly! I was like, really? I was like, I can only play one. I was like, but yeah,
if you ever hear him play Air Triangle, it's awesome. he does like these solos.
I had already heard him play because at one point, a common friend, a mutual friend, Carmen Esparza, she plays bass. She invited me to go play or sing with a band, with a conjunto band, a conjunto show band at the college. And so that's where I met Ruben the first time. And,
Yeah, he was teaching there for a while.
yeah. So and then I saw him playing accordion there, but I had already seen him before, just performing with a mariachi band as well. And I was like, wow, this guy plays a lot of instruments. Plus he sings. He can sing.
No, he does everything.
Yeah.
He's not very pretty to look at, but he can play and he can sing. And when it comes to music, in my opinion, nobody. I mean, at least not that I know. And I know a lot of good musicians, but this guy. And you know what I love about him? That he's very humble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's very humble. He's not gonna. If you don't ask him to, he won't do it. But once you ask him to, he's gonna walk right through the door and show you what he's got. But because he knows that much.
I think he has like extra knowledge. It's just coming out of
Yeah.
his brain,
Yeah, he's a musical nerd.
Oh, and the day when we recorded at Rene's house, is like he even did the segunda. Like he'll do the segunda.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And I was like, it's impressive. For me, it's impressive because, like I said, I consider myself lucky enough to call myself a musician because I play drums, but I wouldn't consider myself in that range.
Oh no,
because that's
the same
no.
thing.
I was like, I'm a musician and he's a musician. You know? But it's just natural talent, I was like, and then
No, and
all
it
the
is-
time that he's put into it also.
Yeah, so the years of training, but not only that, no, he's got raw talent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't teach that. What
No.
he has, and you know what? Big shout out to Ruben Vargas, and I'm gonna invite him to come over one day because, and I would love for him to just to bring a couple of the, and so he can showcase. I mean,
yeah.
a lot of people know him,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't, because he's usually behind the scenes.
And I think a lot of people might know his face from all the times
Yeah.
that he's played. Maybe not his name, but they've seen him, and I'm pretty sure that they'll remember him once they see him.
No, he does everything. I mean,
Yeah.
he goes from mariachi to tejano to jazz to conjunto. I mean, whatever you ask him,
Yeah.
he'll do it.
We did that Christmas song, me and Maritza, and we went into his practice room at his house, and she told me that the music was ready. I was like, okay, so we went in there, and I thought it was just like a little rough draft or something like that. When we went in there, it was a whole produced song, and it's like, wow, that sounds awesome, man. I was like, wow. And then he was like, okay, I think it's gonna work like this, and it's gonna work like that. And sure enough, that's how it worked, and he did his magic, and I was happy with it.
Sweet.
He does really good work. I mean, whoever's looking for somebody to record with, I recommend, especially with that. I mean, the way they work, him and Rene, like it sounds great.
Right.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking into Tejano. And I'm even looking into recording. I've always wanted to, ever since I helped the Conjunto show band, I've always wanted to do like a Conjunto song. Like I said, it's always tricky kind of going into different territories because it's something that I've never really done before, or not recorded, because now with a show band, I can say that I did a little bit of Conjunto, right? But to record it, maybe put in a little twist in there because of me. I know I don't sound like the typical conjunto, but it's not to say that I don't like it. It's just I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, he's not true conjunto because he sounds something like Tejano or whatever.
But Carlos, now these days, now the conjunto, as you know, there's conjunto progressive, conjunto whatever it is, traditional, and so many other different categories of conjunto.
Whatever.
You can put in your twist, and that could be a whole different genre. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just like even with the Tejano, there's the purists for Tejano. They don't want to hear anything different. There's purists for rock. They don't want to hear anything different. And so it's in all genres, there's always going to be that pressure to kind of please everybody.
Of course.
But I mean, I would love to record everything and anything on it because I love music altogether. I mean, it's like I tell everybody. When I was little, my mom used to sing mariachi, boleros, and baladas and stuff like that. My sister, the oldest one, Letty, she listened to Tejano. She was my oldest sister. Then my sister, after her, she used to listen to country. I used to listen to Motley Crue and all these things, plus like Michael Jackson, all these things. My little sister, she was all into the boy bands. She was like Menudo and Timbiriche and all this stuff.
Right.
Other group, right? So in our house, it was never just one thing. It's always different things. So I love all types of music, and eventually I'd love to do it all. But I'm sticking to Tejano, right? That's what I want to do. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to record other things.
Branch out a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, because I love music altogether. I mean, if I could do music full time, that would be
We'll see.
the greatest thing ever. But I mean, it doesn't mean I love my job also. I'm a physical therapist assistant, and I love what I do.
And you're injured?
Yes. Well, because I'm waiting for surgery, and so.
Yeah.
So it's a setback, but even like that, I was telling the guys, I was like, because the guy that has the band, he goes, so what's gonna happen? They're gonna do surgery. What are we gonna do? I was like, dude,
You're gonna Def Leppard it. Def Leppard. One hand.
I told him, look, up until the date of the surgery, like if it's on a Thursday, give me a weekend off, and then the following week I'm ready.
Yeah.
And if they give me clearance, maybe even that same week, depending on the day, I was like, because they'll probably kind of put me on this thing and stuff. So I was like, it's not gonna stop me, you know.
Yeah, that's the same.
I don't sing with my shoulder.
With my shoulder, actually.
And I was like, and as far as pain, I've been in pain for a few months already. Just pop a pill, nothing more.
But remember, one pill kills, so be sure it's,
Yeah, we don't promote
it's
that.
authorized.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Let's put a prescribed.
Yeah, prescribed pill.
Yes.
And not from Noah or Rito.
Yes.
Yeah, or somebody's backseat or back.
Sorry, guys. Prescription.
Yeah, prescription. All right, man. Well, look, I mean, it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on, Carlos, and we really appreciate Charlie. Really appreciate you coming over.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk some more because offline because I have a couple of ideas for you.
Sir?
What school did you go to?
United.
No, we're not gonna hold it again.
Here we go.
Okay. Let me. Quick
He's
story.
gonna try to say it himself.
He's gonna try to sing his way out of this one.
Quick story. I went to Morgan my freshman year. I
Okay.
went to Nixon my sophomore.
You should have just stayed
and,
there
and half of my junior, and then I went to United.
to finish off.
To finish
Okay.
And actually, right before I went to United, I had dropped out of school.
Really?
I decided that I didn't want to go to school, and in my mind, I thought it was useless. And my mom, she was like, you know what? Okay, do it. So I dropped out.
Oh, shit.
2 weeks later, just in those 2 weeks doing nothing at home, I realized, what the heck am I doing? What the heck am I doing? Yeah, so I talked my dad into signing me up because he lived in a different part of town. And I said,
Oh, that's how you ended up.
see, so that's why I ended up going.
Oh,
I didn't want to
okay.
go back to Nixon, so I went to United.
So you got pawned with your dad. Not just pawned to your dad. Ya no puedo con el huerco. Ya no se casa.
No, and it was. I'm glad it happened because it made me realize that I was wasting my time at home. Because I was working, but what was I gonna do?
Yeah.
Work there for the rest of my life. I was like,
And I hope that motivates somebody out there that's going through that right now.
Oh, exactly. Definitely.
You
No.
reach out to Charlie and he'll tell you.
Oh
about it.
yeah, no. And I was a manager at Whataburger at one point, and we had a lot of kids that would come in that were dropouts, and I used to work the morning shift. I was like, how old are you? 16. What the heck are you doing here? Don't you go to school? Oh no, sir, I dropped out. I said, dropped out? Why? So I could work here. I was like, okay, think about it. How much are you making right now? So much. I was like, you know how much that turns out to be in a year, right? And then he starts thinking about it. He starts thinking, I was like, it doesn't turn out to be a lot.
Yeah, what you think.
It's very little.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? If I were you, I quit right now. I go home and tell your parents, you know what? I'm sorry I made a mistake. I didn't want to go back to school.
Yep.
And while you can, let them help you out. Go to school, make something out of yourself.
Absolutely.
And we had some kids come back later on, and they were like, you know what? You were right. I'm glad you were
Yeah.
straight out with me, and
Yeah.
you told me this, and
Yeah.
because I told him, I said, I got that.
We go through things in life for later to be used, for example, or mentor to somebody.
Yeah, so I hope, like you said, I hope it reaches somebody.
I need somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody hears it. But you know what? A lot of times we don't see right in front of our, the fingers in front of our face. You like, especially a lot of kids nowadays. Well, always, your turn, our turn. I don't know how old you are, but we had a lot of people drop out that try to go make it and they couldn't. And now they lost all that time. Now they have to come back, and now they're behind. Now they're in another school year with another group, and they regret it, And again, those parents. I mean, the parents have to be involved. I mean, we need to stop expecting the cops, expecting the teachers, expecting the clergy, expecting the counselors raise the kids. The parents need to be parents, and that goes for anything. I don't care what it is.
And like you said, everybody that you mentioned, they are there to help, but everything starts.
There are support systems.
There's support system, but it does start.
But it has to
Yes.
start, maintain, and end at home.
Yeah.
And look, if you come from the worst family, that's fine.
Mhm.
But the dad needs to remain in touch and on top of those kids. And the mom needs to allow. Because a lot of times we have these women that use the kids as pawns. And we all know those. That's not right either.
But like for us, I also, it was a one-parent household, so my mom was strict as heck. That's why when
She had to be.
yeah, so
Your
that's
mom
why
and dad.
when I said I want to drop out or I'm dropping out, I was expecting the chancla, I was expecting a meeting, I was expecting something, some type of
The power of
the power of the chancla, exactly. I was expecting some type of resistance.
The power.
So when she said, okay. But I guess in her infinite wisdom, she was like,
Yeah.
okay, you know what? Let him
Yeah,
figure it
he'll
out.
figure it out.
Let him figure it out. And I guess she figured that she had done a good enough job to where I was gonna realize that I was doing something wrong, or I was going down the wrong path. And so I'm glad she did, because I realized really quickly, I was like, what the heck am I doing? I was like, let's just go back to school. And that's the best thing I could have done.
That's a good thing you did. Imagine if the trajectory of your future would have been probably very different. And,
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yes.
And you could have stayed at Nixon and graduated from the best
I
high
know.
school. in
There
Missouri.
is something, some kind of accolade.
But it's, you can't win them all.
Yeah,
Can't win 'em all.
it's alright. We all make mistakes in life.
Isn't that maybe if I have a mascot, it's gonna be like the liger, but it's gonna be a tiger, a Mustang, and
The liger
Longhorn.
with one horn.
Oh boy. Well,
All right, Carlos, thank you so
you.
much for
Yes, sir.
stopping
No,
by.
thank
I
you.
really appreciate it.
Appreciate
You're
y'all.
welcome anytime.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Yeah, where can fans find you?
Oh, everything's under Carlos P. Garcia Tejano Singer. So it's gonna be Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and I don't even use that other one anymore. The X one. I don't know. I never really was able to connect with people there, so that's why. And then YouTube, everything's under the same Carlos P. Garcia Tejano Singer.
Good.
I have a channel, and there's all the songs are on YouTube, and you can also YouTube Tejano favorites, and there's 2 videos that somebody uploaded from fanfare.
Oh, okay.
So
Cool.
that was our first fanfare as a band. So so it's going pretty good. So yeah, Carlos P. Garcia Tejano Singer, and also Tejano favorite song.
Excellent.
So new music coming from both soon.
Nice. Let me know. Let me
Yes,
know.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Carlos, don't go anywhere. Like I said, we're going to talk to you by the end of this thing.
Yes, sir.
Any final words?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you for watching and all that. And again, this is continuing to grow as we go along. We encourage in any small business and entrepreneurs, of course, that want to come and visit us and be in our podcast. You're more than welcome. Give us a call, 556-813-7737. Or not contact the Hunter Express Radio, we can get you situated.
As Southman said, we have a live audience. You're welcome to stop by.
Yes.
You want to watch us do this. I mean, you're watching us live on your apparatus there, but you want to come and check it out and see the perfect feeling of I wanted to have to use that good word. I hadn't used it like in a month.
Thank you to Nixon that thought of that.
I hadn't used that in a month. So y'all lay off.
Shout out to your English teacher.
But actually, funny story. But no, just. But no. As Southman said, and I always say it, and TJ, Laredo, share. If you like what you see here, it's just the start. We're gonna start doing more stuff. Getting a little crazier, church will fly, I promise you. I know everybody's waiting for that. We're going to start bringing in the luchadores and stuff like that. And we'll just keep Lucio out of here. Anyway,
Shit.
that's what I was waiting for. But seriously, Laredo, I encourage you, if you like what you see, share it with a friend. Just tell them, hey man, next Thursday, check it out. These guys, bunch of BSers or whatever you want to say. But actually, we gain nothing but just trying to better off somebody's situation. We're right here in Laredo and the community, and there's going to be a time we're going to bring all Laredo, and this is a call for you guys. We want to bring all the old businesses back in here that at one time were here, or weren't, or still are. Hey, excellent. If you still are, we want to hear your stories. So Laredo, again, get on the bus, man. Get on this little bus that it's going to take off here pretty soon, and then pretty soon we'll be limited to who we can bring on as a guest now. I will never be limited. But anyway, guys, I got off my soapbox and turn it over to the boss man here, TJ. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next week, but take it away, TJ.
All right, so I'm gonna share something with y'all. So today I lost my scruffy 14 years, man. I had her, and you know what? I hadn't felt pain like that in a long time, and it sucks, man. It's an animal, but she stopped eating almost 6 days ago. It's amazing, she was already up in age. When we got her, she was we had her for 14 years. So, but we don't know how old she was, by the time we got her. So I'm guessing 15, 16. So she was already blind. She was already deaf. She wouldn't talk anymore. But she last week she just stopped eating, and so we tried to give her some a gel with protein and shoved electrolytes to keep her going. But yesterday I started to notice a difference, and I knew it was going to happen. So this morning it finally happened, and a lot of people were like, "Don't go on the podcast," right? When we were talking about professionals, and I'm hurting. I'm looking at a picture of her right now on Facebook, and it hurts, but hey, the show must go on, right? Life goes on. All I can do is remember her for what she did for the family. I mean, it hurts. It really does. And anyway, all right.
So TJ's always been a dog guy.
Yeah.
I've never been a dog guy. And now my daughter brought into my life a little golden doodle named Maki. And I'll tell you what, man, not only one of the best friend or family member, but it's good therapy for me. It helps me deal with my PTSD and all my craziness and stuff. But it's the TJ says, like, I'm not even the owner. She's my grand dog. She has a dog mom on my daughter, and I'll tell you what, man, she's gone. So I tell my family that I don't remember not having
Life without before.
Yeah, like I don't remember life before, and so she's changed my life, my perspective, and I think I'm very desensitized to death and that kind of stuff but every time I tell my daughter, well, one day we're gonna lose, I say that because I guess I want to prepare myself because I'm that attached to her, and she follows me everywhere. She does everything. So TJ, my condolences, man.
Yes, sir.
I never thought I'd say that, but
About a dog, right?
Yeah. I don't see her as a dog. Like it's just. I mean, I know that she's a dog. But she's so smart. She does so many different things, and I love her. It's just so. Again, TJ, my condolences, bro.
Yeah, it sucks, man. For anybody that's ever lost a dog or a pet, any kind of pet, doesn't matter. You have them for so long, and this one survived several. She had seizures. She
She was a heavy drinker. I mean, she survived a lot of stuff.
Living in your house?
Yeah, living in my house. So tonight's Drunken Stupor is gonna be dedicated to Scruffy. And again, one last thing before we go Cowboys, guys.
Go Cowboys.
Guys, join us next week at 7 o'clock on Thursday.
I hope my microphone is off. I'm gonna start saying something now.
All right, guys, y'all take care. Have a great one.
God bless.